Now, can you hear me? Okay, fine. So we missed the short prayer. I'll just repeat it again. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityormamritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So welcome to all of you. This is live from Tiruvannamalai. We are also going live feed on YouTube. This is for all the viewers who want to see. Most of our subscribers who are regular people here again on shifting awareness into awareness. So today we're going to just emphasize again on this, the grace of this place, which I call is that God. That is why I put that quote of Rumi: to walk on the path of truth, you need the grace of God. So for us, Arunachala is God, because Arunachala is the representative of that God. So in so many ways. So we will talk about it in brief about how Arunachala is compared to God here. Just give me a second. I'll just check if the YouTube feed is going right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. It's going right. I'll just mute it. Well, I will not be able to look into the comments coming here on YouTube. So please excuse me for that. This is coming live from our regular groups that we do here from Zoom. So whenever we want to do anything public, it goes through the Zoom only. So in case anybody wants to join, you can directly come here and participate in these directly. So we are talking about the grace of Arunachala. We have a nice peacock also behind. Murugan, Murugan symbol. So I don't know if you saw that image of Bhagwan Ramana sitting on a peacock. That somebody has drawn that, but again he's compared to Murugan. Murugan is Skanda, the son of Shiva. Now, when we are talking so much about non-dualism, so our references also will be little different. When we are non-dualistically talking, our references also will be non-dualistic. So Murugan is the light of Shiva, or what we can compare as the third eye. What we are talking here, Shiva is the Sahasrara, Murugan is the Agya Chakra. So Agya Chakra is the Guru Chakra. Guru Chakra is the chakra of light, of recognition, of remembrance of who am I, of intellect, buddhi, awareness. This all denotes third eye, Agya Chakra. It's also known as the Guru Chakra. So Lord Murugan is referred to as the Guru. In Tamil Nadu, if you see the tradition, the Guru Kavacham is all done through Lord Murugan. So Murugan is the Guru Tattva here because he is the son of Shiva. So son of Shiva, we are not talking biological sons. We are not talking about the bodily relationships. All these examples are given because we cannot fathom the subtleness of these tattvas. So all these have been given, symbolized very beautifully as the Father, Son, and all that. So like we have in Christianity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So this place is known as the place of Shiva. Shiva represents the God consciousness, the supreme consciousness. So this belongs to all religion. It is not that this hill belongs to the Hindus. It belongs to everybody because everybody is consciousness. Everybody is pure consciousness. So we might refer to it with different names. Like we can take two different concepts here that we are constantly talking about on this platform. I keep talking about it. One is Kashmir Shaivism, the Shiva Sutras, and the other is the Vedanta. So here basically you will find a blend of both Vedanta and Shiva Sutras or the Shiva Tattva. This is Shiva Tattva. But it has good reference to Vedanta also. In Vedanta, they call the highest supreme consciousness as Parabrahman. Para. Final. Para. Ultimate. Complete is Para. That is what we refer to as God in different religions. Even you can call Allah as Para. Final. But they might prefer to call it some other name. Same Christians might call it some other name. Yehovah, Jews will call it, or God, they say in Christianity. It's referring to the Para, the complete supreme consciousness, from where, which is the basis of all creation. Everything stands on that. Everything is emerged out of that supreme consciousness. Everything is come out of that subtlety. Even the grass has come out of that subtlety. So all religion are pointing to the Para Tattva. So that beautifully has been referred to in Vedanta as Para Brahman. Brahman. Brahman means God. Not Brahmin, Brahman. M-A-N, not M-I-N. M-I-N is a caste, is a culture, tradition. We are not referring to that. So Brahman means the God consciousness. Parabrahman, the supreme consciousness. Vedanta talks about Parabrahman, and the Shiva philosophies consider the same God, supreme God, as Parashiva. Kashmir Shaivism calls it Parashiva as Parabhairava. Whole tattva is para, complete, ultimate. So the seekers of Advaita, non-duality, should not be confused with these names. Neither they should get carried away with all these different philosophies. I would call it philosophy. I would even call it concept. Kashmir Shaivism is a concept. Vedanta is a concept. When it comes to the higher realities, they are all expressions of the same truth. So different philosophies, different names, different identities, but pointing towards one truth. So we are talking here about this zone as Parashiva or Parabhairav because it's more relatable to Shiva Sutras or the Agama Shastras, all this plays, all through the Purana, because this whole Arunachala is mentioned in Skanda Purana. The origin of this place, the beginning of this place. Why this place is given so much of importance? Because it's considered to be the origin of creation. It starts. Creation starts from here. So creation starts from here means what starts? Creation starts means that's the starting point of everything. That's the source from where everything began. And if you see, all the religions are wanting to go to the source, be it a Parsi religion, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, anyism. They're all striving to go back to the source, or they are worshipping the source. They know there is some power that is the ultimate. So everybody wants to point to that source. So everybody is simply worshipping that source, respecting that source, and everybody is seeking from that source. Or you can say the ultimate liberation wants to go back to that source. So any ism, any culture or any religion, all are pointing, wanting to go back to that source. So all are looking up to that particular source. So we are talking simply on that source, the point from where the whole creation begins. So Arunachala is supposed to be the point of creation, the gross creation, from where the whole Srishti began. And that is why this point is known as the Agni Kshetra. Agni is fire or light, the point of light. I have mentioned this before also, be it Islam, be it Christianity, be it Hinduism. They all talk about light. Basically, they all talk about light because light is the most seeable, most gross, most subtle gross form of God. So God is Nirguna Nirakara, attributeless, formless, Nama Rupa, not there. It cannot be known, very difficult to fathom. What is this formless, attributeless? So if you want to even see through your Panch Indriyas, because we have 5 Indriyas, and if you want to even realize that God as a source of evidence, because this Panch Indriyas gives us evidence, there is some God somewhere. And with that evidence, we catch proof, and then we have faith and we have belief. How can you have belief on that which you can't see? Because it's not in human tendency. What you cannot see, you cannot believe. It's very difficult. And that is where the concept of duality comes into form. That is where the catch of all human psychology, the chase for some form, because that's evidence. So there are many forms. All religion have different kind of forms. So all those forms are taking shape of some idol, some pictures, and all those things. Every gods and deities, so many things are there. All religions are worshipping. So that's a little easier. But we all know all these forms are coming from some formless. We all know that very well. God cannot be seen. Even you ask a little child, they might point out a representative of God, a symbolic representative to an idol, a temple. But even a child knows that God cannot be seen. That is why all this abstract expression of God is in my heart, He resides within, He's not without, He's within, all those things. But still, it's very difficult to relate to it. So, man found out a way to identify with some source and call that God because that is the closest form. So, if you see the whole journey of from where the nirguna takes a guna, or nirakara takes an akara, the formless takes a form. The first out of nothingness is the light that comes into being. The light comes into being. Out of nothingness, first the light has to appear. From that light appears all other objects. So light and sound, like thunder and lightning. We can easily relate where there is a thunder, there has to be lightning, or the thunder and lightning are from the same source, or they belong to each other. So sound and light, that is the source of all the creation. So sound can be heard, light can be seen. So the light that can be seen is known as Jyoti or Prakasha, the light. And this light is worshipped by all religions. And the sound that can be heard is known as the Pranam, the Omkar. Even in the Bible, it is there in St. John's writings. In the beginning, there was nothing, and then there was the Word of God. Talks about light and the Word of God. That Word of God is Omkar. So all are talking the same thing only. In the start, there was nothing, and then this came. So nothing is Nirguna Nirakara, which is the actual source of what we are talking. The seekers of non-dualism are actually seeking this Nirguna Nirakara, which cannot be seen, the formless, attributeless, qualityless. But those who cannot fathom it, not everybody can understand it. For them, they start from the form, the sound, the form, and then it keeps on descending. The more down the light comes, light and vibration, the sound comes, the more grosser it gets. So we all know now, even modern science knows that sound is the source of everything. Vibration. Now even the modern science is telling everything in existence is vibration, because everything is particles, everything is atoms, moving atoms. So science knows it very well. That even a chair, even a table, even a stone, even water, even a human being, even an animal, an insect, a reptile, anything you take, even a leaf, a twig, everything is vibration. They can see vibration in the wind, they can see vibration in the space, everything. So now it's more clearer to understand that everything is coming from vibration. Vibration is the source. But if you go deeper into vibration, it ends up in light. That is what the research is already going. So from light, sound, and then sound, different kind of sounds and different vibration gives rise to different kind of grossness. So all these objects, what you see is nothing but sound, but they are different kind of sounds, different frequencies. They're not the same sound. The original sound is Om. And from there, you can take simple example of the music, seven sounds, Sare, Gama, Padani. They are not same if you listen to it. They are different tunes. But every tune has a frequency. They're different frequency. And you can see it goes on rising, high frequency and low frequency. So the lower the frequency, the grosser. The higher the frequency, the sukshma. So it starts from the highest frequency of sound and the sound keeps reducing down. As it keeps reducing down, that kind of manifestation of materials. So that's how the whole world is made of. Different object, different materials, different dimensions, even lokas are made. And in that lokas, the highest loka and the lowest loka, patala loka. So seven up, high dimension, seven low dimension. Now they are all again vibrations. All these lokas are only vibrations, frequencies. And according to the frequency there, people live according to their reciprocating frequency. So what is my frequency? I will reciprocate to that kind of dimension and I will belong there. Like attracts like. So everything of the same frequency reside on the same level. So that is how the whole world is categorized into. So whole Srishti, where the Papa, Punya, Devata, Asur, all that come. So Devata you can call on the higher frequency, Asur you can call on the lower frequency. So same way, on the higher frequency of human beings, there are the Siddhas and Avaduts on that level, highest level, Avaduts, Avataras, God, something like that. High frequency, very high frequency. And the lower you come, you go to the grossest level. So man also is categorized on frequency. Lokas are categorized on frequency. Everything that you see in the Srishti is categorized according to frequency. Everything has a frequency. So what is our journey? Our journey is as we begin from light. I am light, you are light, we are all light. Because that's what the essence of the whole spirituality is, to realize that I am God. Am Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Tat Sat, Shivoham. To realize that state, that I have come from that, because I only, this is the whole play. That's where it ends up in. It might be not be relatable to everybody. It might be a little difficult. But ultimately, when you study spirituality and as you evolve, your frequency changes from grossness. As you go higher on frequency, you will receive higher wisdom, higher truths. The lower we tumble down, the more gross wisdom. So the what is the grossest? See, everything has got gross and high, subtle, high frequency and low frequency. What is the highest, lowest frequency of wisdom? Bhautik Jnana, the knowledge of the world. the gross world. And it's all the jnana that we collect here. Jnana about the body, jnana about the world, about the geography, botany, zoology, history, geography, Bautic knowledge, all of the external world of the gross world. So that is called as Bautic Jnana. And Atma Jnana, the highest, most Sukshma, Ati Sukshma, what is the highest Tattva? Paramashiva, Parama Bhairava, or Parabrahma, or God, or Allah, whatever you name that, those frequencies are the highest. And we have a lower frequency. So higher frequency have higher wisdom. The more you connect to the higher wisdom, the more you can reach to the higher level of reality. Or you can say the more higher your frequency goes, the more you will resonate with higher wisdom. You will start receiving that kind of wisdom. Because again, as I told you, your acquaintance, your frequency match. And the lower we come in our whole existence, you will relate more with Bhautik Jnana. So, how do I know my state of consciousness, state of evolution? Just look at my Jnana, my own wisdom, I will come to know where I resonate. Look at my interests, I will know where I resonate. Because like attracts like. Look at my habits, look at my tendencies, look at my vasanas, look at my karmas, look at my lifestyle, look at my friends, look at my circumstances, look at my ideologies, look at my plans, look at my desires. It will directly relate with what is my state of consciousness. As my state of consciousness, that kind of all these tattvas, what I just said. So it is reciprocal. You change your desires, you change your habits, you change your personality, here your consciousness will change. Or you change, you raise your consciousness, those things will change. Including your environments. Including your environments, including the people around you. If you are vibrating at certain frequency, the frequencies that does not match you will not be in adherence to you. There will be mismatch. That is what is called as fights, quarrels, troubles, non-cooperation. Now, I'm not talking about family, all those things. We are talking beyond all that. We are just talking as everything as consciousness. Like all your family, all your belongings, all your loved ones, all your this and that is nothing but vibrations. All come out of that cosmic consciousness to enact the cosmic drama, called the play of consciousness. Why and how we'll see that, but all this is relatable as consciousness, as vibrations. Or if you are in a surrounding where it doesn't match your frequency, you will feel out of space. You'll not be able to relate to those environments. You will feel better in some other environment. So accordingly to the law of vibration, to the law of attraction, you keep moving in life. You have similar interest. You start gelling with the same kind of people according to the vibration. Now there are a group of people sitting here and group of people even watching. These are all of the same frequencies. That is why it's matching. There is a resonance. That is why each are able to relate with the things happening. And what's happening here? What is happening here is a certain kind of wisdom. Now, what is that wisdom? Where is it coming from? That wisdom is coming from that frequency of which this platform is able to relate to. What is that platform relating to now? Here we can see we talk more about Arunachala Tattva. We talk about Advaita. We talk about higher scriptures. We talk deeply about the formless, Nirguna Nirakara. We talk deeply about awareness, consciousness. That's the vibratory frequency we are dealing with. So it's quite obvious if we are doing those kind of activities here, the people engaged in these kind of activities are resonating with that. That is why they are here, according to law of attraction. Those who do not resonate with these kind of tattvas, they will find themselves somewhere else. They will find themselves being in those places where they can relate, where their vibration matches. So you look at everybody and you will come to know the paths also which people follow, it resonates the consciousness, vice versa. The interest which people show, the practices which one does, it all shows different states of consciousness. So that is why, according to individual consciousness, we attract, or you can say, according to what that environment is, we get attracted there. So Arunachala, when I talk about, it is the first form that has taken a form, the first from Nirguna Nirakara. So that is why it is known as Jyoti Swarup. The hill itself is the hill of fire. So it simply means, if you are relating with this hill, if you are being drawn here, you are certainly being drawn to what is the tattva of this place. What is the element? What is the substance of this place? This place is known to be the Redeemer, the Liberator, the one who can grant liberation. Because this is that final tattva. This is the Bhairava place. Beyond this is the Parabhairava's place. Because from the Parabhairava, the light comes, and the light, and then the manifestation and the creation. So Skanda Purana refers this hill as the first form. That is why the story of the pillar of light, Shiva appearing as the Jyoti Swarupa, as the pillar of light, and then the whole expansion going from here. And when it is reversed in the so-called pralaya or destruction, because Brahma Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, and then the Rudra Tattva. Brahma is the creator, the beginning of everything, and then Vishnu is the sustainer, it sustains everything, and the redeemer, the destroyer is the Shiva Tattva. That is what we are talking here. So destroyer means what has been created, when it is withdrawn, that is called as destruction. And we know very clearly the Srishti means temporary. Nothing in creation is permanent. What is permanent? The only thing that is permanent is the source. What is the source? Parabrahman, Parashiva, Parabhairava. This is the only thing that is permanent, changeless. And that is what we are learning in spirituality. All our seeking and all our practices are to go to that which is permanent, not that which is temporary, because temporary, which is ever changing, is subject to dualities, pain and pleasure, good and bad, all the opposites. So that is how humans learn that anything that changes is temporary, and anything that is temporary has the tendency of the opposites. Means the good will change into bad, bad will change into good. Hot will change to cold, cold will change to hot. Divinity will change into evil, and evil can change into divinity. A pair of opposites are there always. Sukha, dukha. Pain can lead to happiness, and happiness can convert into pain. It's not permanent. Happiness is not permanent, pain is not permanent. Hot is not permanent, cold is not permanent. That is what we learn in the spirituality. How? Why are we learning this? Because we entered into this human space and we are living life. A moment comes in our life when we are not happy with the changing attributes. Check it out. Somewhere the changes bothers us. That is when the awakening happens. That is when the seeking happens. When, let's say, I have happiness. I am very happy with life. I go gala with the life. Very, very happy with my life. But then I realize sooner or later that this happiness is not permanent. It is changing. And that is the time I question, why is it changed? I was happy. Why did it become sad? I don't want to be sad. So there is a thrust to go back to that happiness. But then it is undeniable. We can see that no, I cannot always flip to happiness. If I want happiness, I will have to bear sadness also. If I want pleasure, somewhere or the other, I have to bear with pain also. This takes lifetimes for a human to understand that the pair of opposite is always going to be there. Only when the pair of opposites starts bothering us, then we start questioning, why is this changing? Is there anything that does not change where I can, you know, embrace that permanent peace, permanent happiness, permanent joy, permanent contentment without having to fluctuate all the time? That quest of man to find the permanent source is what brings them to spirituality. And then, as they start walking the path of self discovery, they sooner or later again begin discovering that the path is available somewhere. They start get glimpses of that. They start receiving wisdom towards that. They start getting guidance towards that, and then slowly they start moving in that direction. And now as they walk on the path, slowly, gradually, they will start getting many glimpses, and sooner or later their faith becomes firmer that this is where I need to go. And once it becomes firm, then one strives to reach to that state of permanency. Permanency, because everything creature in this universe you see is striving for happiness. You look at even an insect, it doesn't want to be hurt. Who wants to be hurt? Who wants pain? Nobody wants pain. Everybody is seeking pleasure. We are all pleasure seeking animals, including humans. But when we don't get pleasure permanently is when we start deeper questioning, and then the seeking for truth happens. What is the truth? The truth is that the eternal peace and eternal happiness can be found only in the source. So we begin with the quest of this truth. I want to know the truth of what is this life about, because this is so temporary. See, even the quest of all this, where did creation happen? Why did this goddamn world get created? Why do I have to suffer? Why there is death? Nobody wants to die. Have you observed that? Everybody wants to be immortal because they want to experience life. They want to be alive. Nobody wants to die. That is denial of the duality. So they are denying duality, and duality is the reality. Death is there. So it takes some time and some lifetimes for persons to go through multiple life and death and pain and pleasure and all that, and then slowly conclude what the heck is all this about? What is the meaning in this? What is this day and night? Duality. Night I sleep, day I wake up. Again, night I sleep, day I wake up. Again, night I sleep, day I wake up. What is this about? That is, you can call as evolution. Why is that these kind of questions coming to our mind? Because we belong there. We are what is defined as Satchidananda. Our natural state is Satchidananda, means eternal happiness, Nityananda. But since this adventure of going and having an experience of life through duality, through multiple forms, be it a reptile, an insect, a tree, or an animal, a mammal, or a human being, or a god, goddesses, deity, whatever, different formats. We all set out and we have been through all these yonis. They are called yonis. We have played the game because that is why we have set forth. We want to experience life fully. But when the whole creation begins from the start, it begins with this ignorance, and that ignorance is so strong that you can simply keep repeating this experience without having conscious knowledge of what I'm doing here. So that's why I said it takes multiple of janmas and species to get to an understanding that this is all mundane. And when the day you realize what is the meaning in this, the way day you question what is the meaning of all this, it is said to be an awakening point of your whole journey. So life begins in a very gross way. It expands itself. It has multiple experiences, and then it starts remembering as it goes very far. And as there is no happiness, the memory is there because I am light. I left home, the Paramdhama of light, that consciousness, pure consciousness, I'm pure awareness. But that step out creates this duality and the ego, formation of ego. That's what is explained in all these philosophies, so many philosophies. In Vedanta, Upanishad, this is what the explanation is. Trying to have different quests on knowing the truth has taken me almost a lifetime, and went through multiple religions, practiced all the religions. It's not just hearsay. I practice Islam also. I practice Christianity because I was born in this body, in this Christianity, and then explored through the various wide ventures of Hinduism. So, being through different Shastras, experimenting them, studying them, cross questioning them, because you enter more into this zone of Hindu Shastras, scriptures, until you develop your intellect, it's very difficult to get into this ocean of scriptures. Because you'll find sooner or later, as you enter deeper into this, the scriptures, they all contradict again. Many scriptures conflict against each other, they are quite opposite. So, until you have a proper intellect or a proper guru or guide, it's very difficult. It's very easy to get lost in all this and have different delusions. So it's taken almost a lifetime for me to understand the whole thing. And finally, at this point of juncture, at this point of life where I'm standing right now, I see that Shiva Sutras explain things a little more deeply, which probably the other, even Vedanta, cannot explain fully. There are certain zones where even the Vedanta or Upanishads cannot explain, which Shiva Sutras, I believe, has covered it very well, especially the theory of creation. How and why it got created. This is not explained. I have sought it in many, many scriptures across religions. It's not very clear. You can say it's just like a belief. Or you say something and uh, it got created. It just got created. Big bang, like stuff. You can't relate to it. Or it can say that God wanted to create a world. Now, my question was, why did God want to create the world? Nobody could answer that. Why? I have asked this to multiple saints, multiple gurus also. Why this creation? If it all had to begin and end, why begin it only? Why can't it just be blank? Nothing. Why do you have to get into all this trouble? And then all this Maya, and then all these yugas, then go till Kali Yuga and the sufferings, and then get into it. And then somebody comes as an avatara, and then it's going beyond, and then so many things happening. So, my question has always been this one: why get into this nonsense? Nobody was able to answer. So, I kept on seeking, and finally, I find it in Shiva Sutras, which is very much relatable and very powerful, explained through the terminology of Parabhairava, which is a consciousness. And see, there, when you say Parabhairava is that source, that intelligent consciousness, which is ever powerful, eternal, infinite, it starts with a belief. How do I know it is infinite? How do I know it is powerful? So I have to believe my guru, my teachers, the paths, the religion, the scriptures. No other option. So it starts with a certain kind of belief, but that belief should not stop there. The exploration should go on. So as you keep on exploring, what I found was definitely there is something called God. There has to be something called God. Why? Because we refer to that God as supreme conscious intelligence, powerful. How can you, what is the proof for powerful? Then you have to open your eyes and scan through life. So, through grace, this all happens through grace. Now, we'll come to that terminology of grace, how we are all affected by grace and nobody is kept away from grace. We are all worthy of grace. But I'm trying to explain the whole drama of life and the whole concept of grace also. And why this grace? So, as this question deepened on where did all this begin from and how come can God be powerful? Now, these kind of questions also, you have to reach a certain kind of evolution for you to come. This will not come to anybody. There are billions. Forget them having this question in their mind. Even if you go and put this question in their mind, they will not be interested. Not everybody is interested to know about God. Not everybody is interested to even investigate why am I in pain? Why am I suffering? Not everybody is interested. It is simply an innate nature. If somebody is suffering, they just want happiness. That's all. They don't care a damn. What is it about? So if you see, everybody is on that blind moving towards happiness. Even an animal just wants happiness. It doesn't want pain. Humans also. They don't want pain. They just want happiness. Even they don't have a second to sit and contemplate why am I in pain? Why is this thing called pain there? Why can't I always be happy? No questions asked. They just want to be happy. So that is called ignorance. That state is called agyanta. Because of ignorance, they are compelled to behave that way. But as this evolution that we are talking about, it starts from the grossest of things. You can say at mineral level, mineral kingdom, then the plant kingdom, and then evolution into animal kingdom, and then evolution into human kingdom. We have been through all that. That's the whole evolution theory, even in spirituality. Shiva Sutras beautifully explains that. That is why the terminology of Pashu is very powerful. Because Shiva Sutra says, you and me are all Pashus, animals. We have evolved from there. It is our progress. There is a evolution taking place. So when you and me are Pashus, we don't have these questions. We simply live like Pashus. Maybe hundreds and thousands of janmas, we have simply lived without questioning. Bhogyoni. But There is a certain state of evolution where everything is evolving, even from stone to plants to animals to mammals to humans. There is an evolution that's taking place. So, as this evolution moves ahead and ahead, when it comes to the human, it has finished all these kind of experiences which it wanted. I'll tell how and why we wanted. It wanted to experience, it went through all that. Finally came into the human kingdom. Now, this also multiple repeated births up and down. In human kingdom also, evolution keeps on taking place through multiple janmas. And as one evolves, one comes to this state of these kind of questions. So that is also a part of evolution. And when this questioning comes, there is a quest, and then there is a desire to evolve, to liberate, and one becomes aware that I have still the tendencies of Pashu, animal tendencies. So now, because you can see you are becoming more and more conscious, as you become more conscious and aware, that is called as remembering, because I am a pure awareness. I'm pure consciousness. But all these janmas I didn't know. But as my evolution was taking place, slowly I'm remembering myself. That is why I am now questioning, why can't I be permanently happy? Because I am Satchidananda. I am coming from that source which is permanently in that state. So I remember, somewhere I remember my true state of Parabhairava. I am Parabhairava. I know that. But in this process of setting out, I forgot, because this forgetting is important. Otherwise, I cannot enjoy the journey. Now, my question there was, okay, all this evolution, even science talks about evolution. Even if you just observe, sit and observe, there is evolution everywhere. Even a plant is evolving. You water a plant and you see it can become a tree. It is evolving. Look at my own thing. I know I was a baby, but look at my structure right now. I'm a witness to my evolution. Something has evolved in me without my knowledge. That means something is automatically evolving me. Does a child say or plan how to become big? Or does the parent say or plan how to make a child big? Nobody's planning, it's happening. So, my question was always, these are all my quest that I'm seeing on the journey I'm sharing. My quest was, how am I evolving? What is making me evolve? If I don't know, my body is growing, my hair is graying, all these things are happening without my permission. I'm evolving. Even I can see my own state of consciousness 10 years back, 20 years back, 30 years back. And what is it now? So I'm evolving. There is enough proof to see I'm evolving. Enough proof to look around and see everything is evolving. Enough proof from history in the 19th century, 18th century, 13th century, 9th century. We have evidences. How was life then and how is life now? So I can clearly see there is evolution. Now, my question was, no mankind is planning evolution. No human is planning evolution. No animal is planning evolution. No plant is planning evolution, but it's happening. How is this happening? Who is doing this? If an individual is not doing it, the collective is not doing, who's doing it? That is where the whole idea of there is some supreme cosmic intelligence that is doing this whole thing. And that I again and again tell people. That can happen when you start investigating your own life and you start becoming awed by life. It's called Vismaya in Shiva Sutras, what I sent the group today. The Vismaya, the awe. Life after awareness. I don't know if I can read that. But it's a beautiful quote that I sent everybody. Yeah, it's here. So it says, this is the 12th sutra of Shiva Sutra. Vismayo Yoga Bhumika. The different states of yoga causes amazement. Yoga means the different state of my evolution. Every state of my evolution is making me vismaya. It's like, wow. But you say, no, I have never felt wow. I've only felt depressed. Why is this happening in my life? Now, that is where we are talking about awareness. The more a person becomes aware, you notice these things. You notice the evolution and you notice the awe, the splendor in every part. That's what it says. Buddha once said that those who are awake live in a constant state of amazement. This is Vismayo. Now, Buddha said, if you extremely look into Buddhism, it comes from deeply from Shiva Sutras only. You can literally say that Buddha followed Shiva Sutras. If you look into it, because um, if you see the whole mindfulness and breath work that is coming, that's coming from Vijnana Bhairav Tantra. One of that, the breath work, the awareness on the breath, the first Vijnana Bhairav Tantra. That one aspect was just followed by Buddha, and that became Buddhism. One Tantra became a religion. So you can relate what Buddha speaks here is so relatable with Shiva Sutras. Those who are awake live in a constant state of amazement. The different stages of yoga result in higher and higher level of awareness. One becomes more and more awake. Becoming awake changes your whole world. You begin experiencing things you have never experienced before. You look at life a whole new way. You see the beauty of places you had in places where you had overlooked. You may appreciate the color of a flower on an article or of clothing. There is a feeling of joy that fills you and flows out of you. This is because you have come in touch with your highest self. What are we talking now? The same thing. Vismayo Bhumika. As you must have seen, all of you who are there on this shifting into awareness platform for the past 3 years, you can sense this very clearly. And that is how we are learning. And even I'm sharing or teaching here, all based on this platforms of awareness. Because whatever we teach here, whatever we practice, they are not just simple understanding or knowledge or gyan or just some method. It is directly relatable. We constantly keep on relating every experience, every practice that we do with these shastras, because shastras are praman. They are very authentic sources of you as guidance. Because these shastras are coming from the highest cosmic intelligence, from Shiva himself. So we are following the Maha Guru, Shiva. Shiva is the ultimate Guru. This is the theme of Shiva Sutras also. He, the final Guru is Shiva. The Jagat Guru is Shiva. The Guru of all the Gurus is Shiva. Shiva, I don't mean the blue skinned person sitting on a mountain. Please. Because then you will start favoring that, oh, then it's my Hindu God or it's my religion God that is the supreme. The moment you say my God and our God and supreme, you have gone into an ego bracket. It's a different zone altogether. That ego has to completely annihilate, where there is absolutely no difference. That's why I'm referring to that tattva as supreme consciousness. So I might call it Parabrahman, or I might call it Shiva, I might call it Allah also. I might call it God also. I don't care. As far as I'm expressing the truth. So that state which we are talking, the Mahaguru is Allah. The Mahaguru is God. The Mahaguru is Parabhairava. Mahaguru is Shiva. The Mahaguru is Vaheguru. Whatever you want to call it, whichever religion you want to refer it to. The highest source of whichever all the religions are pointing to, the formless, Nirguna Nirakara, that is the cosmic intelligence. That is the Mahaguru that teaches everything, because the whole Srishti has come out of that. So, whose responsibility is this? Is my question. If you give birth to your children, whose responsibility is just to take care of the children? The neighbors? Or your caretakers? Or whose? It's your responsibility. You created it. So it's the creator's responsibility. That is what I mean. Shiva is the Mahaguru, Guru of all the Gurus. That is why he is known as Jagat Guru. We must understand that every Guru can have its limitations, but this Mahaguru cannot have limitations. Everybody has different, only a certain zone of expression, a zone of limited knowledge. They cannot extend beyond. Like say the Guru of the representatives of Islam are only limited to Islam, representative of Hinduism, only representative there, of Christianity. They can only represent there. They are helpless when they go into Islam or when they go into Sikhism. So every religion has got its limitation. In every religion there are multiple paths, and all the paths have their limitation. You can see everybody is boasting their own religion paths. They cannot go beyond. Why they cannot go? Because that's the limited zone of even the masters. But the greatest master, the master of all masters, from where everybody comes, that consciousness cannot deny this is Islam, this is Sikhism, this is this, I will not enter there. No way. It is yours and my ignorance feeling that my Guru, my Shiva is taking care of only Hinduism, or my Allah is only taking of Muslims. It's all ignorance, agyanta. Supreme intelligence has no caste, no religion, no barriers. It's pure Chaitanya, consciousness, pure awareness. And if it is awareness, and from awareness everything has come, all the religion, then it is the responsibility of that supreme consciousness to take care of every single being in every religion, every path, every caste, every tradition, every culture. So, where the limitation of these paths and religion fail, the supreme consciousness takes care of that. So maybe everybody can reach you to a certain state, but beyond that, there is the supreme consciousness. That is why many of the paths, many of the masters actually take you and dissolve into that nothingness. If that happens, then that's a success, because that dissolving into nothingness, it's a medium, it's a madhyam. The guru, the path, the religion is all instruments which can guide you, which can point you direction, and which can nourish you and prepare the way for you, but it itself cannot grant you liberation. That is what I'm talking about, this evolution. If you say, no, my religion is the greatest, or my guru is the greatest, my path is the greatest, my question is, what happened to all those structures and beings before your path, your guru, your religion, your deity came forth? Life existed then also, right? Then something was already taking care of it. So that shows it's all the same supreme consciousness, only playing different roles. Even an avatara is just a temporary role. It's not a permanent. It's simply coming according to a certain dharma, a certain role it has to do in elevating that. So elevation plan is of the supreme, not of the avatar. Are you getting it? Avatara does not come with a personal agenda. Same way, Guru doesn't come with a personal agenda. There is the supreme consciousness working through that medium. So if somebody is stuck in certain belief, in certain understanding, there is a certain master catering only to that zone of ignorance. So there is a limited work for the limited masters in those limited areas of ignorance, and they polish that in whichever name, caste, creed, religion, whatever you call it. So likewise, every religion is taking care of the master plan. See, this is where we fail. We terribly fail as seekers. We come to that understanding of the highest truth through Vedas, Upanishads, everything fine, fantastic. That everything has come from one source. But Maya is so strong, we can even fathom that and agree that everything is coming from the supreme one source, Nirguna Nirakara. But when you see religions around, you cannot fathom it. There you fail, terribly fail. So on one side, I am a strong believer of the concept that everything is coming from Nirguna Nirakara, but I can't accept my brothers and sisters in different religion. That is the hypocrisy of spirituality. Only when you rise and crack beyond that hypocrisy can you move towards liberation. Otherwise, you are on a toss. You are in another dilemma of ignorance only. You cannot rise beyond it. That is why the tattva of fire or light belongs to all the castes. Every home on this planet is lit with this light. This light, does it see difference? The light that is burning in your house, in your bulb or tube light or LCD or whatever, LED or whatever, does it differentiate? The current, the electricity, does it differentiate? We must learn from that. Prakriti. Does the air differentiate? Does fire differentiate and say that I will catch only in fire in this religion house and not in that religion house? Does the sun do that? Does the rain do any partiality? Which tattva does partiality? Except human beings, even animals don't do it. Even plants don't do it. Rocks don't do it. So the only problem is with human mentality. That's where the ego is at the strongest. So you can see, we can call ourselves the most evolved beings, yet we are degraded. When it comes to the ultimate truth, we are degraded. So that is a very challenging part for seekers to get over. That I can see limitations in all the paths, all the religions. How much ever you want to glorify, glorify, but I can pinpoint and show it is a failure, big failure. When it comes to that, everybody is frozen. And my investigation shows very clearly that until you are frozen, you cannot go beyond and realize the ultimate. I mean, you can do your experiment and keep trying, but I am sure of it. And that is what the deeper studies led me to those tattvas and to those secrets where the higher secrets open. And I'm telling you, only if you seek, you shall receive. Simple. Knock and the door shall be open. I don't knock. Why? I'm frozen in my own belief system. So I go to a certain level and I'm knocked out there. I don't have seeking beyond these diversities. So the secrets beyond diversities will not be told to you. All these secrets of Arunachala, of Parabhairava, is only for those who seek beyond diversities. So if you are too fascinated and a very fan of your fanatic ideas, you will never get these in your hands. You can try it. So what I'm trying to say is Even what makes somebody capable of wanting to go beyond the diversities? Why is one person able to come only to a certain level? Why is one able to go beyond? Why is everybody not able to go? Why is some even lower than that? Why some humans not even interested in gods and spiritual? Nothing like that. Not even interested in gods, not even in temples, mosques, nothing. They don't want anything. So why human beings are not alike? Why is everybody on different stages of evolution? And if they are evolving, what makes them evolve? Is the question again back. So if I am questioning and if I am challenging is grace. There is this faculty called grace that evolves. Only through grace does everybody evolve. Grace is something that is not yours and mine or anybody's creation. It is that cosmic intelligence that is flowing from the source, which knows how much to expand and how much to contract. Take a simple example. You are breathing. Can I say you are breathing? But we say I am breathing. False. I'm not even aware that I'm breathing. Then how can I breathe? Or is it better to say that breath is happening? Breath is going on in me? Is that better? Or is it right to say I'm breathing? Because now when I said I'm breathing, we all became aware of our breath. If I want to have human experience, if I want to evolve, if I want to see God, if I want to have liberation, I must be alive in this body. And what keeps me alive? Breath. And I am only not aware of the breath, but it's happening. That is grace. That tattva is called grace. Anything that keeps you alive and keeps you moving into that zone is grace. Now, that is where Shiva Sutras very, very beautifully explains it as Anugraha Shakti. Today's session is completely on the grace of Arunachala, means grace of Parabhairava. Arunachala and Parabhairava are the same. It's supreme consciousness. Only thing is that supreme consciousness in the closest, divinest, holiest form, if you have to see the hill. That is why Arunachala. That is why so much of mysticism around this hill, because this hill is known to be Shiva himself, not as mythology. I don't believe in mythology. I don't care about it, what scriptures say, until I investigate. So, Kailasha is said to be the abode of Shiva, the home of Shiva. And this is considered to be Shiva himself. So, my question is why it should be Shiva himself? Why can't Kailasha be Shiva himself? This is how you investigate. And then when you seek, you shall receive the answer. Otherwise, you become a believer. And if somebody comes and questions you will have no answer. If you become a believer of your scriptures or of your teachers or whatever, you heard it from somewhere, and then you go on boasting. This is Shiva himself. And if somebody asks you, maybe you're somebody not on this path that you are, and say, what bullshit? How are you calling this a Shiva? It's just a rocky mountain. What will you explain? Will you explain it is written in the scripture? Then they will show their scripture and tell, our scripture says this. Which are you going to believe? Clash. All those who fight only with scriptures and hearsay, those who have taken teachings from here and there, and they have believed it. They are for a toss. They cannot explain anything because you are a believer. You can only say, I believed it, or you can give reference. This scripture, so and so page, go and refer. But you don't have an experience of it. So that's why here on shifting into experience, awareness, I talk only about experience. And I tell all the seekers, until you have an experience, don't believe it. Even whatever I'm saying. And whatever I'm saying here, it's my responsibility to give you that experience. Otherwise, I have no right to talk about it. So all these practices that we do are with experience. And once you have experience, you'll say, yeah, that's the point. I get it. That is why I ask people to post your experience. Because that is the authenticity of the path. Whatever you are learning or any scripture that you're referring to, it should be there. Now I've said this particular, what is this about? Vismayo Yoga Bhumika. We cannot simply talk on this. Shiva said this. We go with the sutra and we experience. Now, this sutra number 12 says Vismayo Yoga Bhumika. So it simply says one becomes more and more awake. The different stages of yoga results in higher and higher level of awareness. Now you tell those who have been practicing for the past 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, are you not sensing a heightened state of awareness as you go? If you are, then you will see Vismaya, amazement. Every level of awareness that happens in you, you are amazed. Something within you is happening, something outside you is happening, and you are a witness to it. And it amazes you. Somebody yesterday wrote, I don't know, I'll read it. I'll read this. One experience of somebody which is so much relatable to Vismaya. But yeah, I want to share my current changes, which is unbelievable. I am able to help them. And now I am helping him, caring him without any wrong intentions. This driving change towards females are due to the grace of my inner child healing. Now I feel very much respected and have a deeper understanding of the feelings and help the females. Thank you for this transformation. I have a deep craving now to help everybody with a lot of respect and gratitude around me. And I'm following my gut feeling and I'm crying now. Now, this is one example of Vismaya. Some a spontaneous awakening happens, a change happens, something negativity passes away, and you are healed, or you release something that's not for your good. You have evolved. One more step of awareness has happened, and that Vismaya. I'm surprised, he says. I'm surprised, Bhaiya. This new, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable is an expression of Vismaya. This can happen to me. I've changed. Whole life, I've had some certain kind of drawback towards a certain gender due to the childhood abuse I went. Now, when that happened and the awareness rose, I can see I've changed. Now, that's great news for this guy or girl. For this person, it's Vismaya. So, all of you who share your experiences, you can see a certain kind of Vismaya in that. Amazement. Many of you, I can't see oh my God, what's this happening? That's Vismaya. So, not just in just these experiences, even if you look at life, you are in amazement. Like I told you once, my friend once asked me, he said, why same stupid things you talk all the time? But every time you're talking with so much excitement, don't you get bored? What are you excited about? the Vismaya. That should become your nature. Every moment is Vismaya. It's awe. You look at everything, like it's given example there. You look at a flower, now it changes. Or it says you can look at things which you ignored before. Small, minute things. Maybe it's an ant crawling or a worm walking up, and you're seeing the legs and you're watching how one leg is going here and there, and you're awed, like somebody was awed by a centipede. How can it walk in balance? Hundreds of legs. And how is that centipede moving in perfect harmony? If I had 100 legs, how would I walk? Vismaya. Oh my God, that creature is so coordinated. I look up at the sky, birds are flying, huge flock of birds, hundreds of them. Not one is dashing against each other. All are in beauty. Vismaya. My God, what is this? At night, bats are flying. Not one is banging against each other. Vismaya. This is how you are awed by creation. When you have this Vismaya only, you can understand the greatness of that source, from where it is all coming. That makes you develop a belief or develop a faith which is coming through experience and not just blind belief. But you're building up the devotion to something that is higher. You say, oh my God, if this is so beautiful, that sunset is so beautiful, this butterfly is so beautiful, if every movement of this creature is so beautiful, if this world is so beautiful, how beautiful must be the creator? That's how you fall in love, and that's needed. That is what is called as devotion. So many people tell me you're an atheist because you talk so down about God and all those things. You don't. The seekers of liberations are the greatest theists because they're madly in love with that tattva, that source, because now they know that source. But they will not boast it through your fantasies or fanatism or the descriptions given by people or limited deities and things like that, because even the deities are made from that source, so they are catching the source. So you will see the seekers of the source Parabhairava are not carried away by these things because they know everything is coming from source. That is why you don't become fanatic about your guru also. You know it is the Parabhairava in that form. So you are delighted in the Parabhairava acting through this person, that person, this relation, that relation, this event, that event. Everywhere you are seeing that Parabhairava acting. Now, these states are very deep and higher states. It might sound very good, but they are very high states. High states means you become literally free of all the concepts at this state. You cannot identify with anything. You cannot identify with one path, one religion, one philosophy, one theory, one master, one anything, because you see it in everything. You cannot specialize and call one thing as favorite and that as opposite. No way. You cannot call my path is great. No way. My master is the best. No way. This is all bachpana, childhood games. Like a child would say, my father is the best. My mama is the best. Good. But as you grow up, as you become a seeker, would you do that? If your consciousness expands, and if you go into that state of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, where every family is my family, would you keep boasting, my family is the best, my father is the best? If you are boasting, then your consciousness is very limited to that limitation. That is why I'm saying these are higher states of consciousness where you can see everything as your own, no differentiation. And that is a must. That is your evolution towards the Parabhairava state, because these are the tendencies of Parabhairava. Whatever I'm mentioning right now is the quality of Bhairava because he doesn't differentiate. I wouldn't even call he, I will call it it. It doesn't differentiate. It is genderless. It does not differentiate between anything. So if you are acquiring the qualities of your father or mother, your divine parents, you are becoming that. You're close to becoming that. That's what I'm saying. Until all these concepts go, until all these divisions go, until all the you and my goes, it is very difficult. Arunachala Tattva is that. This place is that will simply bombard that element in you which is causing so much of differentiation. That element is called the ego. It is the ego that says you and me, I and mine, we and ours, and our limitation, favoritism, and all those things. It's the ego. And this hill destroys it. Hill means the tattva. And this form of hill is a jagrit tattva. It's an active, conscious hill. Now, for that, it might not be very easy to understand. It might be a little difficult for us to relate because you might hear about it and you might come and move around the hill and you might say, I didn't feel anything. Or maybe I felt little good in the temples and around and top of the hill and all those things, but I can't relate to it. Yes, it's difficult. So I don't mean that if you come here, Parabhairava is going to give you darshan or Shiva is going to give darshan. Don't come with those hallucinations. But yes, if you come here, definitely that's the call of this place for a particular reason. Because this place, since it's vibrating with that source, has the capacity to burn the ego. That is why this hill, Arunachala, is known as the destroyer of ego. What is it that keeps you from realizing that you are Pairabhairava? I will not talk in your language, the other language that we always say. What is it that differentiates me and Shiva? What is it that keeps me and Shiva far? Yes, the ego. But I am going now deeper to the Arunachala Tattva, the Parabhairava, the Shiva Sutras, what it's explaining subjectively. I'm not saying I am different and Shiva is different, and what is keeping uh, difference between you and me. A little more higher and deeper level of understanding is that what is keeping me from realizing or remembering that I am Shiva? The question changes. As your consciousness changes, the questions keep changing. So you deepen and you no more relate as I want to merge with Shiva. That's good, but that's to a certain point in the start. Because that I is someone extra separate from Shiva, wants to merge into Shiva. But the reality and the ultimate truth, because what we are talking is the path of this truth, as Rumi says. If you want to excel or know the path of truth, you need God's grace. And who's God? The one who is that truth. So this grace only makes you experience and feel that I am Parabhairava, but I am not having that experience. I know somewhere. I somehow know, I have a feeling. It's not translated into experience, but I know. It starts, the grace starts with that feeling of I know I am Shiva, but I can't experience it. I'm unable to realize it. Realizing I am Shiva is self-realization because self is Shiva. When you realize yourself, you know I am Shiva. The self is Shiva. So, what is it that keeps me away from knowing or experiencing I am Shiva is my ignorance and ego. So, the more I dissolve my ego, or the aham, or the I-ness, or the doership, I will simply return to the state of Parabhairava. Now, for that, you need grace. That is what we are coming to again. For all this, there is grace needed, not just to realize this part at this end. Even for an animal to move to human, there is grace needed without the animal's knowledge. Animal is not saying, I want to become a human. It is automatically happening. That automatism is called anugraha. It's called the blessing or the grace of who? Of Parabhairava himself. Because Parabhairava only is in that animal, having this whole journey and come till this animal. Okay, so Parabhairava. No audio? It might be coming now. Do we have the audio now? Okay. So Parabhairava, or that God consciousness, set forth. Now see the irony. It set forth to have an experience. This whole duality happened because of that Icha. Icha Shakti and the Kriya Shakti. Icha to experience. So this Sat and Chit, what we are talking about, this Chit is the ego or Shakti aspect. Shiva and Shakti is Sat and Chit, same. Yin, Yang, masculine, feminine, whatever you call it. Adam, Eve, Adam, Hawa, Islam. It's the same stuff in an act. So this masculine or the Shiva aspect is this pure consciousness which does not do anything. It's just simply awareness, pure awareness. So I want you to just keep all your ideology and concepts about Shiva aside because I'm not talking of the Sada Shiva, the one with the form. I'm talking about the formless and God consciousness, Chaitanya. Shiva Sutras first verses, Chaitanyam Atma. And this first sutra is enough for those who are on the level of Shambhopaya. They don't need anything else. Only one sutra. Those who are on the level of Shambhopaya will just understand Chaitanyam Atma. That my Atman only is Chaitanya and Chaitanya is Shiva and I am Shiva. Same, Khatam. If they can realize that, they don't need any other sutras. That is for Shambhopaya. Shambhopaya is the highest level. It's a very high level of evolution of consciousness. So there are many souls who are evolved to that level. And for them, this much is enough. They will simply contemplate on that and they will continue their journey. They don't need anything beyond it. But not everybody might be capable or have reached that state. So one more step down is Shaktopaya. Now they might relate to other, they might need more sutras. So if you are in the Shaktopaya level, other sutra, there are many sutras. You go ahead. So Shaktopaya is more on the mind level, people. Shambhopaya is awareness level people, only awareness. When you are only coming to the state of awareness, what is shifting into awareness? What is this whole journey about? Shifting into awareness, the goal is of Parabhairava. What is Parabhairava? Pure awareness. So shifting into awareness is shifting into the state of Parabhairava, again falling back because of ignorance. So you go into that state, keep falling again and again. So it's a practice to go and remember that I am awareness, I'm Parabhairava. I keep shifting into the state of Shiva again and again. And with certain amount of practice, which comes through grace. Even these practices come through grace. Without grace, you cannot have an affinity to practice awareness because you have to leave all the concepts. All the concepts start destroying itself. Only when all the concepts are destroyed can you abide that I am awareness. Till you have concepts, you are in the Shaktopaya. You have to go one level down. Then you are a mental person. You have a lot of concepts in your head. You cannot be in awareness. Pure awareness, you cannot be. So, more the concepts, you are in the mental concept, still sukshma, not gross. Why? Because you cannot fathom, I am awareness. I need to hold on to something, maybe a mental japa, or maybe a mental picture of a deity, or the mental picture of Shiva, or the mental image of my guru, or some, the yantras, or contemplate on my chakras. Sukshma only. They're very sukshma. And that is also very high level of evolution where you are doing the internal sadhana. That is the beginning of Advaita. So you are internalizing everything. But Shaktopaya, you need concepts. That is still Salamba. You're holding on to this concept or that concept, mental concepts. Shaktopaya. Some more sutras are needed. And if it is too much to fathom even that, oh, I cannot think of God in my heart. I cannot think of Guru in my Agya Chakra. I have to see him. I'm dying to have darshan. I have to go to the temple to feel vibration and connected. I have to keep a yantra in front of me. Then only I can connect with that God. Then Anvopaya, one more level down. And more of sutras you need. Why? Because two becoming grosser. So these are the three levels explained in Shiva Sutras. Shambhopaya, Shaktopaya, Anvopaya. Now, Anvopaya, to come to the level of even Anvopaya, is to generate bhakti. Everybody is not in Anvopaya also. I can't relate to a temple also. God, I don't care. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything. I'm only in my ego state. So not even Anvopaya. Then what makes him or her eligible to come to Anvopaya? Grace. Without his knowing, without his doing, things happen in his life. You and me, our own story. Never paid attention to it, but thokre mile. You got bumped here and there, and then suffering and pain, and then you start questioning, where is that permanent peace? Why is this disappearing again and again? Then your quest begins. I want to know, why am I suffering? Then you come across something called a karma philosophy. And then you start making, okay, it makes sense. Then you have a deeper quest. If karma is giving me pain and pleasure, what can I do to transcend this karma? Now you're going deeper. More deeper the questions, the more you will come into religion, into paths, philosophy, scriptures, and you start exploring. That's how the self discovery is happening. Now you'll see it is not without it is not with your permission here also. That suffering also did not come with your permission. It just happened to you. It just happened. And you bumped. Look at all your spiritual paths that you came. Did you plan and come? Did you say that at the age of 24, I will start my spiritual practice? Nobody guess. It just happened. And that happening is what I call as grace. Grace brings you into Anvopaya first. And you have to link with lot of things. All gross stuff. Then once you become sukshma, with that grossness only you take the practices. You go to a temple and you get connected to God. You develop bhakti and devotion, or you go to a guru and you take Diksha or Shaktipat, and the Guru helps you move further and make you more Sukshma, or you get a mantra, and that mantra purifies your mind, Chittamala, and then makes you purified. Everything, all this Anvopaya is helping me grow. But what brought all this to me? Grace. All these objects came to me, grace. Time lead came, grace. It's all happening. And then when it happens, I'm moved to the next Shaktopaya. Then now I lose my interest in all the heavily gross objects. Now I become more internalized. Now I become steady. Now there is no running around. Now there is no need for photos or yantras or all those objects, divine objects, or running to the temple, gurudwara, mosque, and I don't need to do the prostration. I don't need to read the patha loudly. I don't need to do mantra japa and havan and abhishekam and all those things. All that I know, it helped me to a certain point. But once I'm purified, now my interest starts dropping in that. Then I'm moving towards Shaktopaya, Mansik. I believe now I'm very happy doing internal Mansik puja or Mansik japa or Mansik contemplation of my Guru, contemplation from everything from within. Now, yantra is outside. No, I'm interested in becoming the yantra myself. So the yantra has gone inside. I become the yantra. I am contemplating on myself as the yantra. Shaktopaya methods. What has happened? Sukshma. How? Grace. Who gave you the faculty of even feeling everything inside? Grace. Without grace, you could have never felt that Sukshma. Once you progress from there, you move towards Shambhupaya, where even these mental concepts are dropped. Nothing, no grip on any mental, no affinity towards anything. When you lose all your affinity to everything in your mind, when you now know everything in your mind also is just a mere concept, however divine or great that is, then you are ready for Nirlamba Yoga. You simply become nirbhava towards everything and only what is beyond it. You are now interested in gunatita. Anything that has guna, you are not interested in. Not even sato guna. I don't want to become sattvic also. Previously, there is an interest. I don't want tamas. I don't want rajas. I have to become pure. I have to become divine. I have to become holy. I have to become sattva. So I do all the sattva, all the good things, divine things. But when you go to that level, when you are moving towards Shambhopaya, you lose interest even in the sattva qualities. You don't care. You want to go gunatita. Your practices might have taken you to samadhi and turiya, but now you want to aim towards turiya tita. That is Shambhopaya. That's a very high level. Shambhopaya is the highest level, and there once you reach with grace, nothing else to do. Otherwise, also there is nothing else to do. Grace is doing it. But when it comes there, even this little what I am doing or this feeling that I have, I am doing, that also will disappear. And then you are simply in that current. The soul has pulled you now. And that's the final stage. There is nothing else to do there. That's the highest state of awareness. So a seeker in that level is only on awareness zone. Nothing else matters. Only awareness. And these are people who have the practice of abiding in the self. Now, that is what I wanted to make very much clear, that these zones are not very easy. Until you clear your Shaktopaya and Anvopaya stuff, you're trying to jump there, it might be difficult. But the beauty of Shiva Sutras, Kashmir Shaivism, is Shiva, because Shiva is supposed to have revealed through many mystics, like Abhinav Gupta ji and all that, and great Mahasiddhas, Kashmir, revealed through them like an instrument, through a dream, or there are many versions of that. I know I don't want to get into that. The thing is, how it has come to us, that's important. Some say it was through dream. Some say in a dream it appeared and asked to go and find out in a certain place and lift a stone, and under that stone was the sutras. However, that unwinded, that's not very important. But the whole thing is that it came to us from that intelligence. And the intelligence has that power to do it in any manner. So the stories don't matter, but the knowledge, the wisdom is come right in front of us. And that wisdom is not believable, but experienceable. That's the beauty of Tantra. Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. The beauty is that Shiva is simply giving you the methods. He is not sitting convincing you with philosophies. This philosophy, that philosophy, nothing. No do's, no don'ts, nothing. Just the method, straight, do this and experience. Do this and experience. That's all. So you'll see at least 30-40% of all the practice of shifting into awareness is Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. And the beauty is how and who did it? God knows. Grace. Why? Because even I didn't know it's happening. Just as I said, even an animal doesn't know he's progressing. Even I didn't know 10 years back I'm progressing, but things are coming into my place and I'm moving and journey is unwinding, just like you all. We all are unwinding automatically, but things are timely coming to us. That is grace. So, grace led us here, shifting into awareness. This whole platform, God knows how it, what led to what, and big story, but story is not important. It happened. And then go to see all these practices were automatically happening within me, and I'm teaching here. And then go to see it's all from Shiv Gyan Bhairav Tantra. Grace. This is what I'm telling. The whole thing is done by the cosmic intelligence itself. This we should be able to realize. Even my own life, when we all say individually, my whole life, Vismaya, I should be able to see that something is automatically working in me. Something is simply leading me there. Like Ramana Maharshi ji said here, Bhagavan Ramana, when he left his home and he came here at a very young age, in his childhood, even he didn't know he's coming here. And he didn't know why he's coming here. He didn't know what is lying there. He never knew that he's going to be here and he's going to have an ashram. No plans, nothing. He just ended up here in the stony, rocky mountain called Arunachala. Red hot mountain. In those days, not even trees. Now trees are planted. It was only red mountain. Red means hot. Red hot. That is Aruna means red. Achala means still. The red mountain that is still. So what does it symbolize? The Shiva, Nischala. Achala, Nischala means Shiva that is still, because pure awareness is still. It is not Chanchala. The Shiva that you have in mind is Chanchala. That is a creation of something. It is a form. Form means vibration. Please understand. This Parabhairava means vibrationless, no vibrations. That is the reason to come to a state of Parabhairava, you need Bhairava. Who's Bhairava? The one who puts an end to all your vibrations. Bhaya means beyond, Rava means sound, vibrations. Bhairava means the one who can take you beyond sound. So Bhairava, when it activates within you, it will put an end to your sound. What is sound? Vibration. Where is vibration coming from? Ego consciousness. The moment there is aham, vritti start, mind comes, then mind gives rise to that indriyas, and then all interaction begins. So if you have to reverse that process, this vibration has to be put. So what is the source of vibration? Shakti, ego. Because Shakti is there, this vibration begins. Because Shakti is what created this whole universe. Why? Chanchala in nature. Shakti is Chanchala. It is only wanting to go outside and create. Because of Shakti, the whole universe is created. But there is this cosmic intelligence beyond this Shakti that is just pure awareness, that is watching even the Shakti creating. That is Shiva. That is what I'm referring to as Parabhairava. So to get to that state, which is pure supreme consciousness and awareness, which has no vibrations, no chanchalta, nischala, achala, arunachala, that stillness. If you have to get into that state of Parabhairava, you need Bhairava. Bhairava is that form, that energy, that element which destroys the ego. Because that ego is the source of all your vibration, chanchalta. You can say it destroys or dissolves that Shakti, that chanchal nature of Shakti. When the chanchal nature of Shakti stops, it emerges back. Sat Chit, Chit emerges back, merges back with the Shiva. Because it is chanchala, it goes outside. When it is nischala, it comes back. And who is this? Going outside and coming in. I and you. You and me are Shakti, ego. We have all thousand billions of sparks from the Parabhairava. All these sparks are the Shakti expanding itself. So collectively, there's one big Shrishti that has been created. But every spark has its own Shrishti, that is you and me. Individual Shrishti we have. Individual life we have, life dramas we have created. So that Shakti is expanding and experiencing this whole world by creation. So who is aware of this whole creation and experience? Shiva. The nature of Shiva. To experience, to be aware, be conscious of all that's happening. So to whatever end that Shakti has created this Srishti, even till Patal Loka, the Shiva consciousness is aware even of the Patal Loka, even of the demon, the experience of the demon. Everything is come out from there only. So all the good, bad, ugly, everything is Shiva. In that state is such high where you realize that everything is consciousness. That is the first sutra. Chaitanya Atma. That's it. All this Atma, everything is Chaitanya. Everything is Chaitanya. A pile of shit and a Shivalinga. There's no difference. That's that state. Your down level will feel offended because we are in Raga Dvesha, duality, strong in ego. You'll not fathom this. But on that state of Parabhairava, the shit and the holy object is the same. That's why it's not fathomable. But if you can relate to this, you are blessed. You have grace of Parabhairava. Only when you have the grace of Parabhairava can you feel like him. Can you begin experiencing like him? That is why all these avadutas are in that state almost. You can see them. Do these avadutas have any barriers? Do these avadutas have me and mine? Anything to claim ownership? Do they have patriotism, nationality, country? Do they say, I'm a Hindu, Muslim, Christian? You'll never find avadutas talking any of these nonsense. There is no bifurcation. They are in that experience of Paira Bhairava. They treat everything as that. That is what Avadut Nityananda said. Gold and mud, same to them. That level has no partiality. An Avaduta can never be partial. You go to any Avaduta and sit. A sinner and a saint will be sitting side by side there. No bifurcation. In front of the Avaduta, you'll never see, oh, saint is come, give that saint a seat. And this is a Dushta Atma, you sit far away from me. No way. So these terminologies are not relatable to us, and it's okay if it is not relatable. You need grace. Grace, if it is there, you can see beyond into this nature. And that grace is automatic. Why it is automatic? Because Shiva set out to have an experience. The Shakti came out, whole Srishti happened. It is expanding, expanding, expanding. But whatever comes out is temporary, so it has to finish. So it is a temporary experience. So it goes out as an experience and it has to come back. It is my master plan. So when you want to experience life, what do? You go for a trip and come back. 1 year or 1 week, sorry, you go 1 month, you go for a holiday and come back. So 1 month, you have gone out, but sooner or later, you will feel homesick. How much ever, whatever life you want to experience, you try it and see. Because you are Shiva, is the same nature. You will expand and you will contract. However far you will go, you will want to return back home. However outward you will go, you will want to return back home. Yeah, don't you see that? The more outwardly desires this, that, you go into the world, and now you're dying to meditate, dying to enter into samadhi. Why? Returning to source. How much ever outward you go, you will return back like a rubber band, elastic. That rubber band is called grace. It will not leave you beyond a certain point. That is the essence of grace. So that tattva is explained as Anugraha Shakti in Shiva Sutras. There are two elements, opposites here, Nigraha and Anugraha. Nigraha means my expansion. Shiva, when he expands, when this duality happens. Why this duality happens? Because you cannot experience when you are in non-duality. Tell me one thing. When you are in deep samadhi, can you experience yourself? There is nothing called having a tangible experience. You cannot hold on to that experience. You are in a blissful state. That's the original nature. But one temptation, one desire, one thought is enough, even in that dhyana, to make you come out of the dhyana. It can be anything, one small thing. You might be going for your meditation in the morning, and then you remember inside one thought comes, evening, I have to go for a movie with friends. Enough to open your eyes. One desire, you open your eyes. What has happened? First, Ichha Shakti came up, movie. And then you open your eyes, and then Kriya Shakti. You will get up and go to the Kriya. Kriyaman ho jate. Exactly the same nature of Shiva. Deep meditation, Satchidanand. One thought to experience itself, opens the eyes. That is the Shiva opening the eyes. Shiva opens the eyes, the world comes into existence. Shiva closes the eyes, everything is withdrawn. That is how it is explained. So you and me also are the same. We open our eyes for desires. We close our eyes when we are fed up of desires. So the Srishti happens, and then the whole Srishti is done with, the experience is done with. Shakti returns. Shakti goes out first, experiences, and now Shakti wants to return. That is Devi Kalottara. If you're interested, go to shiftingintoawareness.com/courses and do Devi Kalottara. You'll understand this whole concept. That is a state where Shakti is returning back and praying to Shiva, I want to come back. That is in a story format, but this is what happens. I'm done with it. I want to come back. What does Shiva say? Okay, I'll tell you the secrets of coming and merging back to me, Satchidananda. But first become Nischala. Stay calm and then listen to me carefully. That is a translation of our own lives. Shakti, the me, the ego, takes birth, comes out, goes experiences, and when it is fed up with life, like most of us are, that is why we are seeking liberation. We want to go back to that state of pure blissfulness. And that is why we are choosing these paths and spirituality and this and that. Why? The chitta, the ego, the shakti, the chanchala, the me, the chanchal, the I, the mind, the chanchal nature of me is going out, creating this, creating that. And one day will come I'm fed up. What is this for? What is that for? What is the meaning of life? When that happens, my chitta is tired. Now it is seeking paths to go back and relax. And I want to meditate more. I want to know that my real nature. I go into a path. I get initiated. I go to holy places. I intensify. What is this happening? Chit is returning back to Shiva. But the condition of Shiva is, I'll tell you the secret of coming back to me, but first become Nischala. That is a message for us. If I want to return back to my Shiva state of nature, I have to first shut down my activities, my desires, chanchala nature. I have to become Nischala and then listen to Shiva, that is the soul within. This awareness, Shiva Tattva, is me, the soul, the Atman. And from the Atman, the ego comes out, and ego is playing it. Now, when it returns back, when it becomes Antarmukhi, it is having a dialogue with my Atman. That Atman is Shiva, and this one who is having dialogue, the ego, is Shakti. That is what all your stories about Shiva and Shakti communication is all about. They are not sitting under a tree on a mountain. That is conceptualized that way to give you this message. Your own soul is Shiva, Atman, and your own ego, mind, is Chanchala Shakti. The more nature you want to play around with, Shakti. You need Shakti, you need prana, you need activity to be Kriyaman. You need ego to work in this world. You shut down the ego, there is only Shiva. That is why you can see morning you wake up. Who wakes up? Who wakes up in the morning? Ego. It wakes up and it begins creating. It goes around, then it wants to have families, it wants to have creations, it wants to have money, it wants to have status, fame, maintenance, all those things, and it gets involved in it. New stories get created, and then you come under the clutches of Maya Mala and Karma Mala. Shiva Sutra explains that. The first, the ego, when it comes out, that is Anamala, and then when it moves outward, as someone, the ego, you see when you wake up, you have the ego. Okay, those who want to sleep can go to sleep. Okay, I'm going to complete this. It might take any time because this is going to be on YouTube, and I want this whole thing to remain there for people who can see it all the time. That's why I'm explaining the whole tattva. So if you feel tired, you can go to sleep and you can see the recordings on YouTube. So that Anamala, when the ego wakes up and I want to do something in life, I have this motive to do something, be something. In the morning I wake up, the first thing is I have my identity. Oh, I am here. I'm a father, mother, husband, wife, brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, man, woman, boss, employee. All this feeling comes up, and then you become that and you start acting. You have work to do. Chanchala. So Shakti rises, awakens in the morning, and Shakti is Chanchala. It goes about its Srishti, your creation. So that's called Anaman. That's an impurity. Ego rising, Anaman. So because the ego rised, I started claiming myself as an identity. I am this one. I am something. Now, because I have this feeling I am something, automatically that something comes in communication with everything around. When I say I'm a father, definitely I will come in contact with my children. When I say I'm a husband, definitely I'll come in contact with my wife. A wife will come in contact with the husband. Automatically, roles are created. That is called Maya Imala. Because the I rose, mind rose. I and mine belonging. So I is Anamala, mine is Maya Imala. Immediately you start identifying. This is mine, this is mine. The moment you identify this is mine because you have taken up a role, what will happen? Very natural. The third mala, karma mala, will begin. So the moment you have an identity, I'm a boss. I run a company. What will happen? Immediately you'll identify with mine, my factory, my business, my employees, my work, my profit, my losses, my meetings, my conferences. That is my escort now. The moment me and mine comes, okay, karma mala start. So my conference, oh, I have to go for this conference. Oh, I have to work for this profits. Oh, I have to fire this employee. Oh, I have to hire this employee. Shuru ho gaya. Karmic activities. That is called karma mala. So three malas. What is the root? Anamala. That is ego. You can see the whole root is ego, the Shakti. And this hill is the destroyer of ego. Means the clearer, the one who clears the Anamala straight. Na rahega bas, na bajegi basuri. So one path is where you keep cleaning your karmas one by one. I should do this karma. I should not do this karma. I do a punya karma. I don't do a papa karma. You are in that. You are operating at that level. Karma mala. You are creating, you are cleaning your karma mala. You are doing punya, good charity works. You are working on that level. Slow progress. But it's needed. Wherever we stand on the level of evolution, that is needed. So most of them who are there in that Anamala, sorry, the Karmamala zone and who are interested in working on the Karmamala will have Anvopaya methods, all gross stuff, puja, part, karma kand, and all these things. They're working on karma kand, so karma level. But if they have evolved and they come to the Maya level, they can work on the Maya level. That is your next level of Shaktopaya. Shaktopaya works on Maya. You use your intellect, you use your mind to withdraw, you go inward. You don't want to open your eyes. You see Karma Yoga, you have to open your eyes and do the karma. But in Shaktopaya, you see, you want to close your eyes and go within. You become subtle. Why? The moment you close, Maya is gone. So there you start now working on Maya Iman. Powerful practices, many practices. Almost all the paths are on Anav and Maya Imala. These on Anvopaya and Shaktopaya only. Most, you can say even 98% of all the paths deal in that. And that's where the crowd is, population, because that's the majority. That's a huge crowd in that zone. Anamala and Mayamala. But as you refine and refine and refine, like Lord Krishna says, like Lord Bhagwan Nityananda says, 1 in 1 million have the hankering for God realization. These are Shambhopaya people. Mumuksha. These are refined from that 1 in 1 million. It's not a small deal. So that very clearly explains Shambhopaya is not a very popular method, nor it's a very common method. You'll not see huge populations in that. Very limited. So Shambhopaya involves only your conscious, not even the mind. It is only working on your consciousness awareness, consciousness awareness. It's all on that level. And no interest in anything else, only the self, nothing other than the self. And that level is not so easy. But then again, grace brings you there sooner or later. So that Shambhopaya works directly on Anav Mala. That is the ego, Arunachala. Arunachala is the power to grant you the grace of Shambhopaya. That is why all the secrets of Shambhopaya, you will find it here. I found it here and I'm revealing it to the world. The methods, the philosophies, the concepts of Shambhopaya that I found here, I have never found it anywhere and I don't think it's available also. Because I've never seen those texts which is on that level, like Devi Kalutra. It is one my miniature from the huge text. But why that has been taken out by Ramana and blown out? Because that is for the people who are ready for Shambhopaya. Nirlam Yoga, Devika Lutra. Shambhopaya practice, it is pure Shambhopaya. Everything has to be given up. And there Shiva is giving the eligibility. Give up all your mantras, your tantras, your gods, your deities. He says in that. To whom? To Parvati. She says, I want to join you. He says, then you have to give up all these things. Why? Because she has come to Shambhopaya level. Chitta has come till here, consciousness. Shiva is sitting here. Anvopaya is all down. Shaktopaya is in the center. So Anvopaya people cannot directly have a conversation with Shiva. Shakti cannot have direct conversation. She has to rise, evolve, and come till here. By the time she comes till here, she's closest to Shiva, then she can strike a conversation. And then condition is given by Shiva. First is become Nischala. Because if you become Chanchala, you will go back or down again into samsara. So the first eligibility is you become Nischala, and then you give up all that is beyond, below this. All your gods, mantras, yantra, tantra, all those things, all those concepts give up and abide in me alone, Shiva says. Can you do that? That is the eligibility giving to Shakti. Can you do that? Is what Shiva is asking Shakti. You can do that, is what he's actually telling, because that is why you are asking it. You have reached here. You're eligible for it. So a little more journey, but you'll have to take care of this. So that's how, step by step, the whole truth is revealed back to the Shakti. Now you translate it straight to your life. Don't fantasize and hallucinate Shiva and Shakti talking somewhere, and then don't go and garland them. My Shiva said this, my Shakti said that. The Shakti is not different. You are that Shakti. Your energy, your prana is that Shakti, because that prana is vibrating, throbbing. That is the chanchal nature of you. That is what is creating your Srishti. And there is one aspect in you which is very silent, which is awareness, pure consciousness, pure awareness. So that awareness is aware of your whole drama. You, the mind, you, the ego, will not be aware of it, but the Shiva in you knows. So the more you shift into awareness, the more you're shifting into Shiva consciousness. That's all. The more you shift into awareness, the more you'll have subjective awareness of I am Shiva. Otherwise, you can be in the opposite end and you consider yourself I'm the ego. That is what saying I'm Jake. I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a disciple. I'm a guru. This is all identities that I hold. The Shakti, the ego. So from this end, I can try to go and meet my Shiva. That is what most of the paths are doing. Check it out. The Shakti wants to go and merge with Shiva. It is rising from here to up. I also, my expression becomes, I want to go and merge with Shiva. I want to go and attain self-realization. Whereas the Shambhopaya secrets are something different. When you evolve to that level, you will be clearly given the wisdom that you are not Shakti, the ego that wants to go and merge somewhere. You are Shiva yourself, and that Shakti has come out of you. Shakti has come out of you. Now you are pulling it back. Are you getting it? Subjective nature it is. This is the highest truth that has been revealed in Shiva Sutras and not easy to catch. But this is Shambhopaya method. The moment you catch that, then your practice is only that. You're not identified with any other Shakti practices. Any go-getter, doer, any I want to go and attain. There is no attaining. That is why Bhagavan Ramana, Nisardat Maharaj is saying, you are already attained. They are talking from the subjective nature of Shiva. You are already attained. There is nothing to attain. You just remember. You recognize. It is called Pratibhijna, this art of self recognition. When Shiva recognizes, remembers, I am Shiva, this nature of Shiva only forgets when it goes into the ego. That Shakti part, it forgets its nature. And when it forgets, it takes on an identity as XYZ and it goes on with this drama. But actually, it is Shiva. So the art of remembering I am Shiva is this whole journey about. Now, that's the beauty I want to conclude in. It is my game. I started this game. I ventured out, but I forgot. I forgot. But the cosmic intelligence in me has not forgotten. That cosmic intelligence is still acting as grace and drawing me back to my original status again and again. That is why I find myself being drawn to that. Who is doing this? You are not even aware of why you're doing it. I told you, you're not aware of why I practice, why I came to a guru, why I came to a religion. Why am I picking up this scripture? Why am I sitting for this satsang? You are not aware. Something is pulling you. That is the Shiva nature in you. Because it's pulling you, it's throbbing you from within. It is making you remember. That making you remember, which is so automatic, is called Anugraha Shakti of Shiva. Anugraha Shakti of Shiva. Because Shiva only is playing that game. So we might talk like Shiva played the game. Now everything is going, and Shiva is taking me back. No, that is objective in nature. It's good for philosophy. It's good to understand the whole concept. Okay, Shiva created, and Shiva has built this. Oh, Shiva is withdrawing. Shiva is opening the third eye, and he's doing the whole destruction. Anvopaya level and Shambhopaya level, you see this story as like this an objective that Shiva, someone there is doing. God is there. I am here. God is pulling me that side. This is the level of consciousness of Anvopaya and Shambhopaya. But when you rise to the level close to, the first two are the levels of Anvopaya and Shaktopaya, where you are seeing things from here. But as you rise higher in your awareness, you'll start feeling it subjectively that Shiva is not I. I entered into the game. So I have to remember myself. The perception starts changing. Your practices start changing. So now, by nature, you are understanding that, oh, it's my game. That is when you don't blame the world. Because that is when we say, oh, I only played the game. I only ventured out. I got into all this trouble myself. I wanted to experience life. Le, experience kar liya? Done? Not done. I will play. Go and play more. One day when it is done, you'll say, oh, fine, I'm done. That is my ego self, the Shakti telling I'm fed up. I want to now return. At that time, I want to close my eyes and sit and recognize myself. So, me, the ego, is surrendering and saying, enough. I can't handle this anymore. That is the time these concepts of surrender, God, craving for God, crying out, weeping, having tears, I want to unite, and all those things, I want to liberate, I want to die. The ego has all these kind of ideas. I want to commit suicide. What is it trying to do by suicide? It wants to end its egoness. In simple terms, suicide also is simply that ego wants to end itself because somewhere it knows if I end myself, I'll get peace. See the nature. Somewhere it knows if I end my this existence, I will get peace. But it has not translated, ripened into the true knowledge. But it still has some unconscious knowledge. And that is why it attempts to kill itself sometimes or numb itself. You can take sleeping pills or you can take alcohol. Somewhere you know this ego is a problem. This mind is a problem. I want to give this rest. I want to sleep. Sleeping pill and sleep. Take alcohol and sleep or take drugs and numb myself because I know this is a problem, a bloody problem. Who's this? Ego. It wants to die. It wants to finish its existence, but it has not understood. It's not ripened the whole experience. So this will give us an understanding that all that is trying to dissolve in so many ways, even in the normal human being, an unawakened human being also, there is this urge to sleep and numb and kill. It also wants to experience permanent peace. So with grace, slowly it is led to the right direction, and slowly grace only brings your attention into multiple paths and ways and things like that. And then you become entitled to something called Shakti path. Shakti means, you know what? It's grace. Pata means falling or descending. So, in one term, you can say the Shakti that descends on me. Shakti path hona. The Shakti that falls. Path, patan, patan ka karan, falling. So, patan means falling all the time. Or patal, patal lok, down. Pata means down. So, Shakti pata means something that descends down upon me. Now, this Shakti pata is a concept very clearly and beautifully explained in Shiva Sutras. The Shakti pata is what acts as grace. What we are telling now, something automatically is bringing me to this path, isn't it? Evolution is happening internally. Now, how it is happening? How is grace functioning? Grace is functioning through Shakti pata. So Shaktipata, what we know is very limited. We only know that a guru gives Shaktipata by touching or by seeing or Sankalpa. Seeing means Nayana, Diksha. Diksha means initiation, where the Shaktipata happens. So by seeing, by touch, Sparsha Diksha or Swapna Diksha, in dreams, initiation is given. Nayana Diksha by sight or Sankalpa Diksha just by thought. And Shaktipata happens. We know only that limited. But as I told you, there is a Mahaguru who's taking care of everybody who has a guru, who doesn't has a guru. See, we didn't have a guru at one upon a time. But still there was progress. Animals have guru. Not everybody has guru. A criminal has guru. No. But still they will evolve. Who's taking care? Mahaguru. Shiva. Through Shaktipat. So Shaktipata happens in multiple ways, constantly. And we all have been having Shaktipata upon Shaktipata. We only don't know it. And that is where Kashmir Shaivism beautifully explains all these things. Finally, I'm so happy of getting all my answers, which was still missing. Got it here in Kashmir Shaivism. So Shaktipata, if, for example, you say, my Guru gave me Shaktipata, but who brought you to your Guru? Shaktipata. You had a Shaktipata, have an awakening, and that thrust brought you to your Guru. So that means you had a Shaktipata before that Shaktipata, gross Shaktipata. So there is some grace that of Shiva, of that consciousness, which is bringing you. So you are not different. Now, while talking, we are telling Shiva is giving that Shaktipata to you. Who Shiva? You yourself. So I am gone out on a journey, on this journey, but so that I don't forget, I have kept alarms because I'll forget. So I keep alarm, and that alarm awakens me every time. Who kept the alarm is the question. Did Shiva keep your alarm that you want to wake up in the morning? You kept it. Same way, Shiva by nature has this alarm system that's already prefixed because otherwise you'll go on. There's no end to it. So Shaktipata can be anything. There's a misconception that Shaktipata is blissful. No, Shaktipata can happen even through the painful of experiences. Most of the people have painful experiences, sufferings. Most of us, suffering has brought us to spirituality. So that suffering is in disguise. Shaktipata happened to you. Because otherwise you'll forget. The ego nature will go on expanding. There's no end to it. You'll forget that you have to go back home. You set out on a journey to experience, but you cannot go on forever. You have to return back after the experience and then feel how beautiful the experience was. So life is all about experiencing. So that Shiva's nature in the non-dual form, it cannot experience. It is like your eye cannot see your eye. Can your own eye see your eye? If you want to experience seeing your eye, you cannot. You have to take the mirror and look into the mirror and then you can see your eye. That is what's beautifully explained in Shiva's nature. Shiva wants to experience itself. How can it experience? Non-dual, you can't experience. So it needs a reflection. That reflection is the separate of Chit and Sat and Chit. So the Sat is reflecting, is looking at the mirror of Chit. The Shakti. Shiva is looking at Shakti. Shakti has become the reflection now. So now it can reflect its own experience through Shakti. So whatever Shakti is doing, it's its own it is experiencing itself. Which when it is Sat and Chit, it cannot experience. So for experience, this duality happens. So that experience is got a limited time. That limitation happens through grace, anugraha shakti. So nigraha shakti is that aspect of Shiva where the Shiva Tattva allows the Shakti to take over. It allows simply so that it can experience. And the Shakti keeps growing, ego keeps growing. And as the ego grows, the Shivatva reduces. That is the Tirobhava nature of Shiva in Shiva Sutras. It contracts itself so that the experience is more profound. You go more grossly, more experiences. And you can see the same in yourself. The more ego we develop, the more desires, the more dreams, the more outwardly, the whoever goes more outward, more and more outward, you'll see their Shiva nature has gone from Atman has become small. Soul consciousness has become small. Then you become a Tata Birla, fully in the world, fully engrossed in worldly activities. Why? The Tirobhava nature. Shiva has concealed itself and it's now experiencing the ego. It has blown out. So the whole ego is having that big experience. And this concealed Tirobhava, which has now concealed itself slowly and has allowed the ego to go, which is called the Tirobhava nature or the Nigraha. Opposite is Anugraha. Nigraha means Shiva nature becomes small, it allows the ego to grow up. Anugraha means opposite. It Shiva expands now, ego starts reducing. That is the Anugraha Shakti. Nigraha Shakti, I become small and the ego becomes big so that I have a big experience. After a certain point, it reverses. Anugraha Shakti activates and Anugraha, I start expanding as Shiva consciousness. My ego starts reducing. Now tell me, who's the doer here? It's automatically the play of Shiva. This is why it is called the play of consciousness. We are just in that journey where everything is happening. That is why people who are in Shambhopaya level, very high level, like Ramana and Nisardatta Maharaj, they say you have nothing to do. You're just part of the play. There is nothing left to do here. Just enjoy the game. Wherever you are, however you are, just be there. Why? Because there is no need to do anything. So this feeling of ego that I have to do something, even what I tell is, even if you don't want to do, it will happen. I tell many people, take a break from spirituality and say that today I say, no, I will stop my spiritual journey and I will not do anything. I want life to be my way. You forget it and go also. Still, you'll see something or the other will happen and you will slowly be brought back in. That is Anugraha Shakti. That is more powerful. So you cannot go against the tide. So if I cannot go against the tide, where is my will? Now, do you understand? Free will and divine will. From this point, it becomes very clear that there is nothing called free will. It is all the Tirobhava nature of Shiva consciousness, simply breathing out, Srishti coming out, breathing in, all the Srishti going in. And I am that particle of that Shiva only. I want to experience, and I am experiencing my whole drama. And I come back. It is like a rubber ball. I go, hit, and I come back. It's happening. It's like your breath. What breath you leave out, you have to pull in back. Try stopping it, you can't. Nothing is in our hand. It's all happening. So, and this might not relate to anybody. I don't want to confuse. This, what I'm talking here, is only for the people who are relatable to Shambhapaya. If you cannot relate to these things, you can take things till here and then forget it. When the time comes, you'll understand that there is nothing called free will. The why it is called everything is destiny, why Ramana says, why Nisargadatta Maharaj, why all these great beings at that level say, why Avdutas say all this, that everything is predestined, is because of this. It's a nature, it's a play out, all out there, and retracts back on its own. So, what have I to do? Basically, technically, nothing to do. Why? Because I am playing my own drama. I've set out. So, I am here at this point because this I chose to play this game. And that is how I have reached till here. So, all that I can do is enjoy this game, enjoy it very beautifully. So there is nothing called pain and pleasure. There's nothing called good and bad. Everything is perfectly. If you remember yesterday's satsang, I was fully focusing on this. Wherever you are supposed to be there. There is no point telling I'm in the wrong place. There is no wrong. It's all a part of the whole blueprint of this master game. There is a war happening, it's meant to be. You cannot say, no, let me go and change that. It's all a part of the whole game that's happening. It's a part of duality. It's stupidity to say, no, let me establish only that. No, then there is no point of the game only. Game means the whole dual experience of good and bad, birth and death. So, birth and death, if it is there, so there is going to be suffering and happiness also. So, that is why it says, when I understand this whole secret, and when I understand this is all a game of consciousness, a play of consciousness, and when I understand its true nature, will I be interested in playing the game? I am interested only when I don't know the game. When I truly understand, oh, this is the game, that is when you lose interest in the game. Losing interest in the game is called Anugraha Shakti. That only will return you to liberation. If you are interested in the game, you will go on expanding. Why will you return back? When you understand the stupidity of the whole game and the nothing great to be so this about, you are okay, done with. Fine, you are rewinding. You are done with it. I played my game enough. This game, it sounds too stupid. Every janma taken come. Every janma have a husband, wife, children. Every janma keep on expanding. Every janma then invite problems. Every janma then keep maintaining them, birthing everything, then maintaining everything, and then one day destroy everything, pack off and go. And again come back and do that. What is this? When you come to that zone and you're saying, I'm done with it. I'm done. Those who say I'm done with it are the seekers of liberation. Mumuksha. Those who have still not understood the game, they continue playing it. A little more, a little more, a little more. Till when? Till whenever the time is there. Because Anugrah Shakti will not leave you. You can't expand beyond a certain thing. You cannot say, no, I'm going to live forever and do something. No, that rubber band will pull you back sooner or later. So once you understand it's going to come back, then what's the deal? And when does this understanding comes? When you have had enough Shaktipaths and Anugraha, and you reach to the pinnacle of all the experiences, these kind of thoughts start coming into you, which is a result of grace. And so there are 9 types of Shaktipaths, starting from the Mand Shaktipath, and then the Madhyam Shaktipath, and the Tivra Shaktipath. The Mand Shaktipath is all your life incident, little jhatke here and there. Then they're all Shaktipaths. They're reminding you some way you are getting by the Mahaguru. Then in the Manda level, in the Madhya level, you will get initiated through people, through gurus, through masters, which is again coming from the Mahaguru. That is little more intense than the Madhya, little jada dosage. When you become ready for it only, then that is why they say when you become ready only, you become eligible to get a guru. And he will give you a little more jhatka. Madhya Shaktipaths. From there, you become eligible for Tivra Shaktipat. Tivra Shaktipat is given by him. Final dosage. In Tivra also there are 3. In Manda there is 3, Madhya there is 3, Tivra there is 3. Mand Mand, Mand Madhya, Mand Tivra. Madhya Mand, Madhya Madhya, Madhya Tivra. Tivra Mand, Tivra Madhya, Tivra Tivra. Tivra Tivra is the final. Oh, that final one jhatka and you are gone. Tivra Tivra is the final Shaktipat that you get, the highest given by Shiva himself. And that is that experience of self-realization. Tivra Tivra. That comes with his grace. That nobody can give that. See, everybody can be mediators in taking you there. That's why it said nobody can give you moksha. Moksha can be given by that one. Who's that one? Me only. So that's how the game is. I start, I move around, and then I pull the whole existence back into myself. So I am the Shiva opening my third eye. When I want to destroy, I open the third eye because this is the Gyan Chakshu, this is the Murugan. This is the Agni. This Gyanagni. With this Gyanagni, with the fire of wisdom, I burn my ignorance. That fire of wisdom is Arunachala. That is why the wisdom that you get here, because all the people who come here will get Shaktipata. He blesses. That is why I put that retreat name as Grace of Arunachala. The level 1. Why we call it level 1, level 2? There is actually no level. It's just a stage of evolution. Level 1 is when you get introduced first into this tattva, what I'm talking right now. The grace of Arunachala. So in that kind of retreats, we just experience the grace. That is where you are bound to get introduced through whatever Shakti, but that we don't decide. The tattva decides. The one who brings you here decides. It is not anybody, because us also he is only pulls it. And he keeps pulling. See, that grace is what pulls you here. And I have had plenty of incidents in my life that simply keeps me pulling here. Even every month. Nowadays it has become every monthly. 3 days. Simply. No excuses, no reasons, nothing. I simply find myself here. Past 3 years, almost every month I'm here. So you can imagine how many trips. Now you call that madness or whatever. For me, it's grace. He pulls. That is what Ramana said. Oh Arunachala, you pulled me. I don't know who I am, where I am, what am I supposed to do. You pulled me. You pulled me into your lap and made me sit in your lap That is, he was in the lap of Arunachala, and you made me like you, Achala, Nischala. So this hill has the power to pull people here and make them like it, Nischala. How can it make Nischala? By killing the ego. Vibrations are stored. So this is the Bhairav Tattva for me. Arunachala is the Bhairav Tattva because it will end your sound, your vibrations. Activating the Bhairava is activating Arunachala. Or coming to Arunachala is coming into the lap of Bhairava. Why? Because the Bhairava will introduce you into Para Bhairava, your true nature. So this hill, these past couple of trips, I've had this very strong feeling of this hill is not pulling me here, my soul is pulling me here. See, it's a holographic effect. When you want to go deep within, you go within. The soul is within, the self. And what is this hill? Self, Shiva. It is pulling from outside. Same thing. It is pulling souls to the self, to itself, Shiva only. Shiva is pulling all these beings. Who is the originator? He only. He's pulling everything into himself, isn't it? That is the macrocosmic effect. Microcosmic, you see, you as Shiva are going within and going into samadhi deeply. You're pulling, withdrawing everything. All your investment into the samsara, here and there, you put right, invested all your energies into this plan, that dream, this game, that career, this, everywhere you have invested. And when you go into meditation, what happens? You simply withdraw and go inside and you go into that Shiva Tattva. And what's happening here, Arunachala? Same thing. It's pulling souls from everywhere into its source. All from everywhere it's coming. Where it has invested. Shakti has invested it everywhere, spread out. Now it is pulling it back. Only when it comes back here, there is Nischala Tattva. So this level where you understand this. Now it can be through Anvapaya, Shaktopaya, Shambhopaya, doesn't matter, because there are people who will get pulled here, even those who are Anvapaya also, not necessarily you have to be there. It can pull you here and make you do rituals here. Puja, Pata, Karma Kanda, the Parikrama, all those Anvapaya practice will happen. That is what happens in our retreat, level 1. We go through all this. We do the Parikrama, we do everything. That's Anvapaya. That's not Shambhopaya practice. Anvapaya. So that is why I put it as level 1. We go through the Anvapaya and then we settle down in Shaktopaya. We do the mental kind of things, inwardness. And that we do, and then we prepare ourselves for level 2. That's the level 2. Those who have done retreat, that's why I said that's compulsory. Only those who have done retreats here are eligible for level 2. Level 2, now you are ready to understand Shambhopaya. But if you are interested still in Anvapaya, it will not happen. So we cannot deny no Anvapaya is no, because Arunachala is Anvapaya. Arunachala itself is a gross form. How can it deny grossness? How can it deny Dvaita? There is a Shivalinga here. There is everything. The hill itself is Shivalinga. So it encourages parikrama, it encourages abhishekam, it encourages bhakti, bhava, puja, aradhana. Everything you can see in the temples, everything is here. But it's happening on a very deep level. It can purify faster so that you become ready for Shaktopaya. And then you become ready for Shambhopaya. This hill has the power to bestow that blessings. Because I've seen in my own journey, past 15, 16 years, I'm coming here. I can see my journey from Anvopaya to Shambhopaya very clearly demarcated. So this hill does have the power to do that. And that's Anugraha. That's grace. That is why I call this program as Grace of Arunachala. It has the power to bring us back. So I thought if I blend Kashmir Shaivism and Arunachala, it will be understood better. This whole sequence can be understood better because Shiva began expanding from here, it contracts. So Shambhopaya, it begins with Anvopaya, You need not, maybe at that time you are, not in that mm, level of extreme Shambhupaya methods. What is Shambhupaya? Nirlamba means no clinging at all to anything. Forget concepts, not even your physicalities. So Shambhupaya, you can simply say, because simply thinking we doesn't make us eligible. You have to see, how am I eligible? What is the simple question that comes in Shambhupaya level? Because that is very close to the Shivatva nature. One step beyond, you step beyond it, you are simply the Paravairava state. What is that state? Nirlamba. So for Nirlamba, what is the question? So if let's say the Lord asks you, are you ready to give up everything right now? Your career, your goals, your relationships, your home, your this and that, and all the things. Are you ready to give up right now? If you say yes, you are eligible Shambhubaya. You have reached there. If you say no, thoda time, then one step down. That's the eligibility. That's, we have to understand this self-realization, moksha. This is not just uh, some fantasy games. I see so many people talking about moksha, but they can't part with their Parker pen. They can't uh, let go of their dog, but they say, I want moksha. They can't give up. They can't give up that chocolate cake. They want moksha. They can even bargain when God says, are you ready to give up everything? Yeah, it's fine, but I want my chocolate cake with me. Or can my dog come with me? People do that. People definitely do that. They want to take everybody and go there. So it's like a mela. There's no mela, it's akela. You have to be just by yourself. So am I ready? Am I just ready to take that plunge? That is Shambhopaya. That is that level. So what makes us eligible for Shambhopaya? Grace. And at Shambhopaya, you get Tivra Tivra Diksha, Shaktipat. One Jatka and you're out. That's it. The end of the game. So to have Tivra Tivra Diksha, I have to become eligible. And for that eligibility, grace is working on me. So is it that now I want to move ahead faster? So I have to make effort. I have to make effort so that if I put effort, like if I do punyas, if I do, like there's a normal saying, right? Kripa, punya, आपका पुण्य का फल है कृपा हो रही है. Because of all the accumulations of your past, punya you did, so you are getting grace. So now the simple question is, oh, so for grace, I need to do all these things. So let me go and do it for grace. Let me go and search and hunt and Havaduta and fall at his feet and never leave it. Desperately. Why? Grace, kripa, to devour that grace. Or do I go and do 10 parikramas around the hill? Grace, kripa. So I have, so here you can see, it simply means I have to put effort to make grace, right? And then there is a saying where Avadut Gita says, without the grace of God, you cannot have Advaita Vasana. ये क्या मुसीबत है? Now it is like Advaita Vasana. Oh, to go to an Avaduta also, that's an Vasana, right? Advaita Vasana. To go to an Avaduta, I need Kripa. And here I am thinking, if I go, if I go to an Avaduta, I'll get Kripa. But to go there, I need Kripa. That's how beautiful it is. So you'll understand this that effort come from grace, previous grace. So it's a loop that is already taking care of itself. And that's a very powerful loop. You are simply in that loop. So all that you got to do is be aware. Be aware of the game that's happening around you. There is nothing to run. There is nothing to hurry. There's nothing to worry. You're simply taken care of. That is what the promise of Shiva Sutras is, that everybody is worthy for Shaktipata, because the Lord doesn't see any difference between anybody. A criminal also has got that much. A saint also has got the same capacity and eligibility. But the game of karma, an accumulation of karma, simply delays the process. That's all. The more you get into Anamala, Mayamala, Karma Mala, and you get entangled in that, the process might delay, but it's not that there is no hope back. You are going to come back sooner or later. So, what we have to realize at this state will not be realized at Anvopaya and Shambhopaya and this Anvopaya level. What I'm talking right now, this understanding, this wisdom will not come. This knowledge also will not come. As you proceed, this knowledge will start coming. You'll get into this something. See, that's what it says. The grace of the Lord is tremendous. It will come through any source. Any of the Panchindriyas, Shaktipat can happen. When you are eligible, it will simply happen. So let's say this wisdom is coming to us, or we are understanding is because we are eligible. What are we doing for it? Nothing. It's simply walked into us. So things are being taken care of. Shiva is taking care of everybody because I am only Shiva. That is what Ramana said, which is these are very high teachings of Nisardat Maharaj and Ramana. Shambhopaya level, that is. So it cannot be just thought like that. Is why Ramana is compared to Murugan. Murugan is the son of Shiva. It's said that he's taken an avatara, Shiva's avatara, because Shiva has to play the game. This is all the game. The guru's coming in your life is a game. Ek madhyam. So even an avatara coming in your life is a game. So it will play in the game only. It is all a part of the blueprint. There is nothing apart from the play of consciousness. So Ramana was pulled into this place. Even he didn't know. He was eligible. Anugrah Shakti, Shambhopaya level. He is a perfect example of Shambhopaya. Fully eligible for Shambhopaya, who got a Tivra Diksha, Shaktipat. That effect that which he had, that his father died and he was thinking, what is this? Body is the body has died, but where is my father? And then he starts thinking, who am I? I find this body. And then he has this fear. I want to die. Let me experience death. He goes and lies down. I want to see what happens to me when I leave this body. And then he has that whole experience. That is Tivra Shaktipat that happens to him. Who came and initiated him? The Mahaguru. And the time is right. So Bhagavan Ramana is the perfect example of Shambhopaya and Tivra Diksha, the final. No mediators. And then that happened, he's lost. And Tivra is very Tivra, very intense. You simply are blown into that consciousness. You move into that Parabhairava state, and you might lose your whole consciousness of the body and surroundings and everything. You are in that blissful, you are moved into that state. That is why Ramana came here. He was not aware. For months, he was sitting there in a corner. Patala Lingam, he was down there. For God knows how much time, where even rodents were eating his body. And he was not aware. He was in deep samadhi. Turyatit. Tivra Shaktipad happened to him. Sheshadri Swamigal had to pick him up and bring him here, and then he had to be nourished. Many examples are there. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. When he knocked out into Tivra Diksha, it is said some person, to keep him alive, had to hit his body. Bodhani, Sharir Bodhani, otherwise the body will go. To keep the body alive, to feed, somebody had to feed food to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Tivra Shaktipat. happened. There is no point now. But yes, the body needs to be preserved for some reason. Same, Ramana had to be preserved for some reason. Some another game happened. Sheshaji Swamigal came, saved him, picked him up, came and dropped him here near the hill, and he went. And after that, Ramana started moving here. No consciousness. Why he came, how he came, God only knows. Who did it? Anugrah Shakti. Who's Ramana? Shiva himself. Withdrawn back to its own nature. Who are you and me? Shiva only. But we are at different stages of evolution. Maybe not as close as Ramana, but that day will come. Everybody is destined to go there at that state, sooner or later. So there is nothing called hurry. There is nothing called competition. Wherever I am at the perfect state because I am Shiva. That cannot be taken away from me. That nature cannot be taken away from me. I am Parabhairava itself. And I am having this experience. So let me experience. If I say I don't want to experience, then how can that be possible? Because I set out to experience. Now, how can I say I don't want this experience? So the experience is exhausting itself. So Shambhopaya is that level where you can say you have no desire to eat fast food. Shaktopaya is that level where you might want to eat, but your wisdom says no, you'll fall sick. And Anvapaya is that level where you want to eat, you go and eat, and then you fall sick, and then you suffer, and you have diarrhea, and this and that, and then take medicine, then learn, oh, Bapre, I'll not do it again. Anvapaya. Anvapaya level people are like that. Fast food, they know it. They'll go and gobble it. Desires, they'll go into it. Experience, they'll go into everything. They want to explore everything, expand further, get into every nonsense, and then suffer. And then say, hi, hi, hi. So there are some people who will go and eat fast food, then fall, have diarrhea and all that. And then they'll say, oh, horrible. They'll go to the doctor, take treatment, come back, and then again look at that fast food. चलो एक और बनता है देखेंगे go ahead again lose motion this that multiple times fall sick again and finally they say enough. So then they move into that level of Shaktopaya from Anvopaya, where we are moving to Shaktopaya, and then after many months you are going and you see fast food. And you say, hey, fast food, let me go and have. You go closer to it, then your wisdom, your intellect, your buddhi says, no, troublesome. Then you take another route and go. You're safe. Health is safe. Shaktopaya. And Shambhopaya is no desire only to for the fast food. You see it and who cares? No desire only. That is Shambhopaya. That's the best example, that analogy that can be given here. So this Shaktipata, yeah, I had made a note here. Shaktipata of Parabhairava is always at your disposal. Shiva Sutras says. The Shaktipata of Parabhairava is always at your disposable, means it's always available to you any moment. You have to only become aware of it. Grace or Shaktipata is entitled to you every single moment. You can activate Shaktipata through a firm will. That's what Shiva Sutra says. You can activate that Shaktipata. You means Shiva only, playing the game. And when you get this knowledge, means you are ready for that. When you have this understanding, means that level has come where you can now have more Shaktipatas through your own firm will. So that's what it says. Shaktipata of Bhairava is always available at your disposal. You have to only become aware of it. You have to know that Shaktipata. But in the start, you might not believe. You might think, no, Shaktipata comes from outside. I'm not worthy. Who am I to give myself Shaktipat? No, I am Parabhairava. That is having this grace in my being. I am entitled to it. So if I want, I can really be it. How do I do that? faith. Once you move into that zone and once you understand the Parabhairava Tattva, and then through experience or through whichever way you have a conviction and faith in it, that faith multiplies your Shaktipat and grace. That faith is what is called as devotion. Then you have a different devotion towards that Tattva. You will even have devotion to yourself, your own self, because that faith is there now that I am only that Shiva. I'm playing this game. Now I want to awaken the Parabhairava, that is Udyamo Bhairava. That is moment when I say I'm eligible, when I know I'm worthy, only those people will say Udyamo Bhairava. They can fall in love with Parabhairava. And when they say Udyamo Bhairava, means awaken Bhairava in me and make me realize that I am only Parabhairava. Two ways. One is if you are in the other aspect yet, ego aspect, then you pray to Parabhairava, oh Parabhairava, release me from this bondage. Udyamo Bhairava, awaken, Jagoma, as you say. Jagoma is the other expression that you are a devotee and my separate. Jagoma. Udyamo Bhairava yourself. Or Udyamo Bhairavi. But at this state, it is subjective. One, you can say to your inner self, Udyamo, oh Shiva in me awaken. But you are separate, Shiva is separate. And it can be also subjective, depending on your state of consciousness. You can say, Udyamo Bhairav means you are activating yourself. Oh, I'm Shiva. I'm remembering myself. Awaken me. Awaken myself. So, Udyamo Bhairava just means awakening and full effort. It means 100% effort. Udyamo Bhairava means an extreme, full fledged effort that I make 24 by 7, 100% involvement. The full fire has been set up. Udyamo Bhairava. That is when I become entitled to those further Shakti paths, powerful Shakti paths. So, can you see? We are only entitled for the Shakti path we can. But till the time we don't get this knowledge and wisdom and we become just helpless, then we are helpless to outside Shakti path. We're always running around for grace and touching every temple and doing every sort of thing just for that grace. It's not that it's not needed. That's the state of evolution. You have to run around. But a time comes when the running around stops and you know you are entitled to Shaktipat and Shiva is your Mahaguru. You are only that. So at that state, all the other things goes. And that is the purpose of all the mediums to get you to this level. All the people in Anvopaya and Shambhopaya have appeared in your life from the form of Parabhairava only to make you aware of your true nature. So all the gurus, all the masters, all the beings, all that support your progress is Parabhairava only playing that role to bring you to this level and here connect you to your own self or to the Shiva nature, and then you get entitled for higher dikshas and Shaktipat. So hope this is clear. Though I try to make it as clear as possible. So what makes you worthy of grace is your own faith. And that Udyamo Bhairava is why I talk about meditative awareness. Meditation is not Udyamo Bhairava. That is only awakening Bhairava part time. 1 hour, half an hour, you do it, and then you are gone. Gone back to eat fast food. Vapas sansar. So meditative awareness, why I'm focusing so much on, and I'm telling is because that will get you into the Udyamo Bhairava. Aware. You're aware of all the time. Vismaya. That Vismaya also happens when? When you're aware. That's what Buddha said. When you're aware all the time, you are aware of new levels of your awakening. Only those people can have Vismaya. Vismaya is not closed door meditation and one half an hour activity and then you're dumb again. Vismaya, every moment you are having new states of awakening. That can come only through meditative awareness. So, learning to shift into this awareness is learning to live in awareness. It starts with shifting, you drift. You shift and you drift. You keep falling back, you keep it. All these practices is designed simply, and it's all basically coming from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. So, it's Shiva's teachings only. All these practices, what we are doing, is basically from that nature only. It's coming from there. It presented in its own way. So it's simply trying to make us firmly seated in that awareness. So if you want, you can study Shiva Sutras, you can study the Vigyan Bhairav Tantras, and you'll see what I'm talking here, or whatever you have been doing all these years. It's all there, same stuff. In fact, it is explained as awareness only. Shiva is awareness only. So we shift into awareness, we drift. Shift into awareness, you keep shifting, shifting until you start living in awareness. Living in awareness is meditative awareness 24 by 7. And then the further things happen. That is there in Shiva Sutras again. In the Jagrita Avastha, if you practice, because that is the only place you can practice. You can't practice in your dream. You cannot practice in your deep sleep. So Shukti. Only available time is Jagrita. So if you practice in your Jagrita and expand your Jagrita, if your Jagrita becomes Jagrit with awareness, it then pushes automatically moves into Sushupti and Swapna also on its own. That's again the grace doing it. So we can only practice while we are Jagrat. And that is all shifting into awareness is all about. So if you have any questions, you can ask now. 50% has gone to sleep. I don't know how many are there on YouTube. I didn't check it because I'm sorry if anybody is putting any questions there or comments. I can't see it yet. So I think here a couple of you has some chats. Very strong and higher truth in today's satsang. So much gratitude, Pranam. Okay. So that nature in you which observes this, that's Vismaya. So have Vismaya, not Dambopana. You have something and you're dumb. Nothing is happening only. No effect only anywhere. And there are people who express, all these messages that come, it's that expression. You say, unbelievable, this happened to me. Vismaya. And there are the dumps. So what? And they say, it's my right. Anyhow, Anugrah Shakti is working on me. It is my right. What is that? So, any questions now? You can just ask and clear here. Yeah, one more point I had written here was very powerful, very beautiful. That is, Parabhairava is the purest of all purified state. Shiva has many purified state. We keep purifying Shiva in so many different ways. Externally, we purify temples, we purify Pran Pratishtha. We do so many things. Abhishekam, we bathe this body. We do all kind of purification to purify Shiva. Or we want to see the most purified form of Shiva. You might get it, but it's all very limited. The purest form of Shiva is Parabhairava. And the purest form of purification is the purification of ego, Ano Malla. The final Malla, when it is removed, you will find the purest form of Parabhairava. There is nothing as pure as that. Is what they explain and exclaim. And today, in fact, I met yogi, a sadhu. I was sitting in Aurosha and just going through some notes. A Westerner, he's a foreigner, American, and quite old enough. And he's a sadhu. He's taken sannyas. He's taken proper diksha from his guru. He was Michael somebody, and then he's now Swami Markandeya something. Uh, so I used to see him, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Ashram, many times. He walks with a danda and he wears that Bhagwa clothes and he's a beard, old white beard, and with a hat. He keeps moving around. Yesterday also I saw him. So today I was sitting in Arusha. We exchanged. He entered and he looked at me. I looked at him, just smiled. He went and sat. Then I was there in Arusha for almost 4 hours today doing my work. So he was observing from that, on the other part of the table, and then he walked up to me and he came and said, "Are you that guy who makes videos?" I said, "Yeah, probably what you're trying to say." Then did you make that video on Topium, or did you once walk around Perumbakam Road and you're speaking about Avadhuta? I said, then it could be me. He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I recognized you. I just can I sit here?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And he sat and we had a conversation. So a long conversation. He just wanted to come down and he said, "I just want to say thank you because that video opened up so much." And he's here for many decades in Tiruvannamalai. He's more affiliated with Yogi Ramsud. So he said, in that video you were speaking about Avdutas, even Topiamma, and then the hill. There was so much of knowledge, and I can see it is so much of authentic knowledge that's coming from here. And I was awed. I forwarded to my friends and I said, Listen to this guy is talking. I believe you are not doing much videos." I said, "I do, but it's all very limited, but not here." So he said, "I just came to say thank you." Then I just inquired about him. Then I came to know he was a stuntman. See, what I'm trying to talk about is Shaktipata, grace, Anugraha. वो कहाँ से कहाँ पहुंचे देखो. And he said, "I don't know the ABCD of Arunachal." And he was married thrice. So thrice is that only, no? What do you call that? Fast food? एक बार अजब नहीं हो, then you go again and again and then again and again. So one second. So he had his first wife. He said her name was something I forgot. She came to India in some manner and she lived around in this place. And she was with Yogi Ram Surat Kumarji, very close to him. And she had a great journey with him. And he says, "I didn't even know anything about this. All once he lived in the US and then to the UK, and he was working in the films. He was a stuntman. He was the stuntman to Superman 3 and 4. The main guy, I don't know, he took names, I didn't. So he said he did a lot of stunts. So he was in all those movies. And then this whole thing happened, and then one day he saw Bhagwan Ramana's photo in some place. And it was very deepening experience. So he got connected from there. And then his wife had to come to India and she was here and she never told him about Yogi Ram Suratji. And then finally, when he had to come, a lot of events took place. When he had to come here, she gave him the picture of Yogi Ram Surat Kumarji and said, "This is one great Mahatma there." And that is the first time he says, "I heard about him and I came to India." And that photo was blessed by Yogi Ram Surat Kumarji because his wife was asking, "Can I take a picture of you?" And he said, "Yes, take." And some miracles thing happened and all those pictures and all. Long story, that is cutting it short. So he told me the whole history of Yogi Ram Surat Kumarji, Devaki Amma, how she came, and a huge. I mean, I've never heard it. So much of detail. Yogi Ram Surat Kumarji, imagine he's from North India. He only knows Hindi, and he lands up here and he wanders all this Tiruvannamalai. He doesn't know Tamil, only Hindi he speaks. And then he had met Bhagwan Ramana and Aurobindo and then Papa Ramdas. And Papa Ramdas was his final guru. He went to Kanyanad, and from there, uh, Papa Ramdas asked him to leave and go and be independent. That's how he came back to Tiruvannamalai, and what happened later is all. So I was talking to this person, and when he was telling, I was like, Vismaya, like, wow. And he was trying to understand what was all this. And now, Anugrah. See from where, who comes where. And that is how all these Westerners are here. From where? How many kilometers, miles away? And did anybody plan to come here? You ask anybody of them. I have talked with so many of them. Nobody had a clue they are coming here. When the time is right, you are pulled here. That is the power and grace of Arunachala. So blessed be all the beings that come here. Most of you have already come here. And you got connected already. And that's it. That's an eternal bond now. It's like he will take care. That soul consciousness, that Parabhairava will take care, which is you only. But that will be taking care of everything. So all that you need to do right now, the message of this whole grace of Arunachala is now we are having the grace of Arunachala or grace of God. Like Rumi says, the truth. To walk on the path of truth, you need to have the grace of God. And this is the path of truth we are revealing. So means we already have the grace. So now we can just be aware of this grace and be eternally grateful to it, or still be mongering about it, still be complaining and say, this is not happening, that is not happening. I'm still depressed. Things are not going my way. Why should it go your way? That's the whole question. The whole experience of life is to be the way it is, accept everything the way it is. Why should I try to change myself into this and that? Accept myself the way I am. Because it's a journey that's unfolding on its own. And I trust in that anugraha, that grace that is unfolding within me. So let it unfold how it is. What am I supposed to do? I am simply aware of the experiences. So that experience does not override me or overwhelm me. So I have to remember about my Parabhairava nature. So if I am in that nature, this cannot affect me. It affects me only when I leave my nature or forget my nature. So my whole practice should be to only remember who I am again and again. Remember, remembering back. You're a member of that Maha unit. So you are remembering. You remember. You recognize yourself. So in love with Parabhairava, how relentlessly he never gives up on us. Can I translate that? How much I am in love with myself. How relentlessly I never give up on myself. A little change in perspective. He says, how great is that Parabhairava? He never gives up. I'm saying, how great am I who never gives up on myself? Subjective experiences. So it might, this subjective nature might not come, but it's good to remember at least sometimes. And you can make this a practice, even if you are faking it, if you are not having this, okay, at least you remember this. And you can try to feel it subjectively. Oh, I am this. You will see tremendous ease whenever you do that. You'll see tremendous guiding support, a love, a power that's coming from within, and knowing that I am only that. So you might try doing it. Okay. So no questions. We will end it today, 12:15. So it went for quite long, but I will nourish this whole session. And thank you everybody for being here. Because of y'all, this beautiful satsang happened, and this will leave behind in YouTube for people uh, who are eligible to come. And that's how probably this was done. So we'll end today's session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudayachati Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all be blessed. May we all evolve. May we all be free. Stay blessed, everyone. Anybody wants to join the retreat? It's in June. I forgot the dates. It's there on shiftingintoawareness.com. Level 2 is eligible only for those who have done level 1, and I think only 2-3 seats are available. That will get full. Level 1 is available. Those who are very new, want to come and experience this place. And see, that's one thing that I want to add here. You can try coming here and moving around. You might not get a grip. That's the reason we conduct retreat, so that my job here or the retreat's job job here is to make you conducive enough. That's what we do here. Make you conducive and open enough, sensitive enough to experience the grace of Arunachal. So we are trying to just rapidify or sensitize that process through these retreats. So those who have come here alone and those who have done through the retreats, you will come to know the difference, what it is. So if this can help you, you are most welcome to join these retreats. You can go to shiftingintoawareness.com and then sign up there for approval, and then we'll take care from there. So thank you so much, everybody.